I love
Tapping, no capping. Y'all steady fludging. We know what's happening. If it's tapped, then it's fact. If it's capped, it's a rap. Over and over and over and over. Broken record scratching, they lacking, they capping again. They steady smacking their lips and rolling their neck. Eyes twitching cause you really made it out of them jets. You paraselling. Meanwhile, they just flatline working on the...
How y'all doing, man? It's your boy, the Common, KHAN_man.510. That's the bait, just like every other Friday. Catch us here on Tapping No Capping, where if you're nerdy, you've seen it, then what's your opinion? What's happening with Dr. K?
What? Okay, I'm not muted. Okay. What's up, y'all? Y'all can always find me at Nerd on the Street sometimes, but mainly at the doctor's office where you can get your proper diagnosis and prognosis and everything comics and comic book characters.
Okay. See, Diesel, what's happening?
Hey y'all, how y'all doing? It is the Captain. I am the Captain Diesel. You guys can find me everywhere at Cap Diesel 4 because you know I'm the captain of the dojo. Captain Diesel dojo is what I do. We talk movies, games, TV, all the nerdy stuff. That's what we do. So been practicing the intro. You know, I'm getting working on that.
I see that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Good shit. And then to our special esteemed guest, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's going on, y'all? My name is
This
Brandon.
nigga is a reoccurring guest. Don't do that.
No, where were you pointing? Because she's next to
did
me.
I do this? They
you might need to.
What?
Let's see each other on different screens.
Like, I'm trying to raise the roof. I don't know, nigga. Like, go ahead.
All right, so my name is Brandy. I'm with Solicit Cinema, talking movies, always calling it like I see it. You can find me pretty much everywhere except on X, and it's just at Solicit Cinema. And I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, yeah, appreciate that. I don't know what kind of camera you got, but the shit is fire. Like you look 3D, nigga. Like,
oh man, thank you so much. And what's crazy is this is just my computer. I don't even have the camera right now. This is the lighting, I guess.
Shit. I got a
lighting is like 90% of it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Nah, seriously, that's why I had my husband do it. I was like, baby, hook me up. So
when you got the plug inside the house, you know what I mean? That's
right.
Absolutely.
So before we get into, the main topic of the day, y'all, go ahead and give us some updates. What's been going on this month? It is spooky season. Have y'all been binge watching stuff? Have y'all been, going to events? Whatever, you feel me? Like, what y'all got going on? Let's start off with Captain Diesel. We're going to transition to K, and then we're going to transition to Solicit.
For me, y'all know it's my spooky month is my month. So I've been watching a lot.
Operator ass nigga.
Something like that. We watched a lot of horror. I think I recently just came back from seeing Smile 2, which is okay. Then I think I just put out, me and Kaori worked on 2 videos kind of looking at the category, the catalog that Shudder has on their streaming platforms. We reviewed 2 movies on there. So yeah, I'm trying to do more horror stuff, playing some horror games, all that good stuff, but y'all know how I get down in October.
Okay, I like that. You know what I mean? Some good updates. I might be tripping. Are you playing any horror games?
I just finished my playthrough of the casting of Frank Stone like a week or 2 ago, and I've been begged by Ethan, which he's purchasing it, which is the only reason I'm playing it because he said he's gonna buy it for me. He wants to play through Silent Hill 2, so I'll probably be streaming that soon. Probably gonna hate myself for doing it, but I made that he's gonna be on the stream with me for that.
Okay,
that
real follower. You feel real supporter, like, you feel me? But also with that, isn't Last of Us technically a horror game too?
Yeah, I mean, you can consider it that. I normally don't, but it's zombies, so you can consider it that. I played that. I was like,
okay, y'all. So if y'all want to get some of y'all spooky game content, go ahead and follow my boy Captain Diesel, and then you feel me. Go ahead, go into his gaming and all that. Dr. K, go ahead. You know what I mean? Slaying, by the way, killing them with the makeup game. You know what I mean?
All day.
Fucking them up. You know what I mean? Hit him over the head, if you will. Go ahead.
Thank you. I've just been binge watching. So I just finished for the 5th time watching Follow the House of Usher on Netflix. I checked out the new Salem's Lot. I'm going to watch both of the old Salem's Lots because I've never seen them. I watched both or all three It's. So I was just kind of going through the last couple of things I watched was the Halloween episodes for different shows. So the Halloween episode for the Powerpuff Girls and Bob's Burgers and all that stuff. And then I have dug deep into the trenches and found these super creepy comic books to do reviews on, as well as really creepy characters. I actually had to put pause on a book. It was too much for me. It was too much. It's too much. That stuff.
Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Charlie already knows. That's very Charlie and Todd already know. That's very, very rare for me. So that book that I had to stop, it was too much.
With that being said, this episode is brought to you by Kaori. You know what I mean? She is the spooky queen. She is the witch of the evening. You know what I mean? So yeah, you know what I mean? We will be diving deep into this convo. And now go ahead, Celeste. What have you been up to? What's going on in your October?
Listen, when I tell y'all I have not done anything this October, I was like, damn, y'all got all this great stuff you guys been doing. I haven't gotten into it at all, not yet. But I have every intention of putting on my Scream pants and be doing a binge of Scream 1 through whatever. Where we at? We at 6, right? We just gonna max that shit out, right? But no, I have every intention of doing it. I'm gonna get to it. But really, I watch horror all year, so I'm not. Like life is lifing right now, you know, things are busy. I've been busy doing contracts and stuff for the past few weeks, so I haven't even had time to really do my thing. But I'm gonna do it. But it's just
y'all got something in common.
Dry as fuck right
now. With that being said, do y'all feel like it could just be me? You know what I mean? I am wearing my, you know what I mean, my horror shirt. You know, I'm trying to bring it in. You know what I mean? A little swag, but you know what I mean? Not on Kaori's level. With that being said. Does the spooky season feel like how it used to? Is it as the ladies say, giving? Is it giving? You know what I mean? Is it doing what it's supposed to do? Or
Here
is
it
not?
is. Here it is.
Here it is in Vegas. Okay,
because in Vegas, literally Halloween is like it's like a con in itself. Here, there's literally everything to do. For cons out here, I mean for Halloween out here, they have Halloween for like everything.
Same.
So out here, it's definitely giving Halloween.
Okay.
We actually just had somebody scare a couple of kids. This lady who's she's literally on the corner of our part of the street, and her house is absolutely fabulous. I love it. And she had her husband dressed up as a dead body laying on the ground. And these kids were getting off of the school bus and they were like admiring her house, and he chased them down the street.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
The niggas in Vegas are a little bit more unhinged, so that makes sense.
Wow.
It's Halloween over here.
That's not too far off what my stepdad used to do. He used to scare the shit out of all the kids on our street. It was bad. He wasn't chasing people though. That's a bit extreme.
That's wild. Chasing kids on the block crazy.
It's crazy. Like, I mean, I want to get to that place in my life though. When I reach an age where I'm like, you know what I'm finna do?
Scare
a bunch of really enjoy life.
Oh my gosh, that's how you go entertain
on my lawn that I pay for to scare these kids this month. You know what I mean? It's character building. I respect it.
Character. You sound like my husband. Oh my gosh, character
definitely
building.
builds character.
Right. Thanks. What I was gonna say with that, also with me, I'm going to Sinister Con in Sacramento this month. The people who were casted in Halloween Town is gonna be there. Wow. Speaking of, I know y'all did a Joker review, respect to my boy Jew. But with that being said, there was the dude, he help me out.
The guy Phoenix, who played the actor?
Joker. No, the one who died.
Oh, Heath Ledger.
Oh, Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger. I don't know. I was about to say Keith, like Keith Sweat, but I was like,
Keith Sweat is crazy.
Him.
Wow.
Right. I knew it was right. You feel me?
Enough.
But with that being said, he had did this movie back in the day. I can't remember what it was called, but his name was William in the show. I mean, the movie, he had a lance and he was like a knight. But that movie,
Tale. The Knight's Tale, yeah.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. So the love interest in that is going to also be there. So
Okay.
I want to see if I can, network with them and see if I can get somebody on the show. You new to Tapping No Captain, but if you watch the content, we get a lot of special guests, a lot of celeb voice actors, stuff like that. So we trying to branch out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
I love it. I love what you guys are doing.
appreciate it. But yeah, so with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and dive into the main topic, which is
I thought you had a topic prior to this.
new. Let me do my job. Hold on.
That's what you said.
We get into Agatha All Along, and then we gonna transition into the subcategories.
Okay.
After we want to get into the main juice of the conversation. It's what the people are here for. It's what gets the people going. You feel me? All right. So with that point being said, let's just start it off like this. What was everybody's rating so far with the show? This is the mid review. The show is not over, but from what you've seen so far, what would you rate it?
Like a 7.5, maybe a 7 for me.
7.5 out of 10.
I'm working with an 8. That's what popped first. I'm working with like an 8.
That's pretty high.
It's solid. Like it's real solid.
Okay.
Go ahead, Kaori.
After this last episode, I said 8.5.
Baby.
Okay.
That's exactly what I needed. That is exactly what I was looking for.
Okay. It, for me, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 witch broomsticks. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so far. I mean, I feel like that might be pushing it because we in the mid. We not done yet. But in this mid season where we at right now, I'm comfortable with saying that it's a 9, only for the fact that we got a lot of Easter eggs. For a lot of people, even though they do their own annotation, this is like closely related to the comics. So a lot of people are appreciating that. Like, you know what I mean? It's a little twist of how they, presented certain characters, but it's somewhere similar to the storyline. You know what I'm saying? So appreciation to that. Me personally, just like how I like Black Panther, I like the director's spin on the characters. Let's jump into like one of the main things. Shout out to Kaori for sending these pictures. The Salem 7.
Oh,
damn Jabberwockies, don't they?
so dope.
When they was doing the song, they was about to start his shit. You feel me?
When they sprawled out from behind each other, I was like, "Oh, man. I'm done. I'm in. I'm invested."
But quick question though, why did they take so long to even get in that motherfucking house? This nigga had dumbass long looking at him. Close the door, put a couch against it.
Plot.
I'll tell you why. I know exactly why. Because Disney was Disneying, and they wanted that song to play because they want that song to get some streams. I'm convinced. I was like, all these harmonies. I feel like Disney really injected the Disneying with the music in this. You know what I'm saying?
Too much money making that song for them not to use
it. No,
it.
for real.
Exactly.
They're like, y'all don't hear every word.
No. Well. Hell out of here.
So that's
it was real long.
That's my boy Ninja Wakanda. You feel me? Shout out to him. You know what I mean? Oh, I got his trophy right here. Well,
Mr. Now.
But he is in our debate tournament for Blurred. You know what I'm saying? So this is the trophy once whoever wins this debate tournament. But he was supposedly supposed to be here. You know what I mean? According to reliable resources. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know what that discrepancy is, but we do appreciate you for being here. Just like the church, you know what I'm saying? It's better to be here than not at all or not on time at all. You know what I mean?
Come as you are.
Come as you are, all of that. You know what I mean? We appreciate you. But with that point being said, like I said, I like the director's twist because just how you saw how they were depicted in the show, the way that they're depicted in the comics, not so, not so fire.
Wait a minute, who are these people?
This is the Salem 7.
Oh,
it's
no.
the same people.
Oh no.
So in the comic books, the Salem 7 are Nicholas Scratch's kids and they're Agatha's grandkids. Mm-hmm. And he is mated with all kinds of whoever the fuck. Thank you. And he's mated with whoever the hell. But
right.
I know, right? So I was really, really glad that they did that in the show and then gave them animals to represent versus them actually being animals.
I respect that.
I'm not doing that.
It was interesting. I mean, that came out when I'm guessing like the 80s, maybe the 70s when they were originally
I
debuted.
think they were 70s, 80s, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
they've kept that look even through like I think into the 90s as well. They've kept that same look. And I've always like when they said something about the Salem 7 when Marvel was like introducing things and talking about it, I said I hope that they don't look like that. When they said Vertigo was going to be part of the Salem 7, I said, oh, okay, we're going different directions. Thank you. Picking magical people, not animal people. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I wish the Salem 7 were more threatening. I mean, they look spooky as fuck, especially the season prior. I mean, not season, episode prior, episode 5, like where they was like on their ass. And I mean, you got to remember though, these aren't your average wishes. Like these motherfuckers are all powerful. So it's like
they're also feral. So like,
yeah,
they're specifically after one person, and there's other people who are in the way. But we haven't gotten to the end yet, so there's plenty of time for them to become more threatening.
So how in deep are we getting discussing this? Are we doing spoilers or not?
Oh, what we
spoiler alert!
Spoiler motherfucking alert!
I didn't know.
If you saw, this is only the mid motherfucking review, nigga. So the show not even over. So don't get mad at us for spoiling shit. If anything, this should entice you to want to watch the show to catch up. You feel me? Yes. Now I can understand if this was a movie, but fuck you, nigga. This is a show. So therefore, you need to be staying current. If you ain't staying current, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? Go ahead, pick up on some of these gems we dropping down. Oh yeah, for sure. Right. Gotta be. I'm definitely looking forward to that. She's been the like. Yeah, I didn't see that plot twist coming. I'm sure Kaori did because she's just a storyteller. So she's, you know what I mean? She has that precognition. What would you call that? Charlie, it's a word for it. What do witches got?
Precognition.
It's another one. Come on, Charlie. You the Webster. Come on.
Oh my god.
It's when you're like clairvoyant.
Clairvoyance, yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You ain't the only one.
Premonition. Well,
I was thinking premonition. I didn't know. Yeah. For clairvoyant.
Yeah.
Me on the spot. I was like, oh shit.
Has that.
Wait, which one are we talking about? What are we talking about?
I'm talking about bring it back up for you.
Lilia, the lady with
her trial.
The old one. Yeah.
We haven't seen her trial yet.
I know who she is. Her trial. I actually hope we.
All right, too much.
I hope we see her trial because from episode 5. She is also in that mud trap, and she has not come out of it.
Yeah,
the only one that's come out of it is Agatha.
They're supposed to be dead, from what I gathered from the episode.
I didn't know if they're dead because when I was looking up when I was researching, and of course listening to Marvel talk about things and what the Marvel boards, he put them in a mud trap, but he could have just as easily also banished them from the road and sent them home. The only one confirmed officially dead is Alice. Because she was able to get out of it. So
with that point being said, I am not wasting my slides this time. I spent too much time on it. Which character right now do we want to focus on so I can bring them up? We want to talk about Lilia because I can show her.
Oh, we can talk about Lilia.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh damn! I think they put in some work. Okay.
Thank you. You know, I try to do a little something.
So I was very, very convinced because Billy knew who he was, and I knew Billy knew who he was just based on how he was acting. Nice. They did do her dirty. Based on how he was acting, I knew he knew who he was. So I was like, I feel like he put the sigil on himself, which would not be too far-fetched, but Lilia being the one to put it on him, and it's the fact that she didn't even actually put it on him, she just wrote it, and she completely, and of course with sigils you forget what you're doing once the spell is cast. So when she wrote it on the stone, she completely forgot. She just so happened to see that there was a jacket in there, and when she went to go give the jacket back, she didn't know who the jacket was even supposed to be going to. So it really could have gone to anybody.
The only thing that about that is kind of weird to me is that she knew to put the sigil in the jacket pocket. Because after she made it, like you said, she would have forgot. But why did she just instinctively know to put it in the pocket and then give it away? I think she had like because she's doing that thing that is kind of similar to what Doctor Strange did in Infinity War, where she gets little sporadic views into the future and doesn't know when it's happening or where she is. Which there's somebody else that I'm thinking about like that, where she kind of lives in different moments in time, almost like Dr. Manhattan, almost, where you kind of seeing everything at once at different spurts. But yeah, some of the stuff with her is kind of muddled because I'm like, okay, she's doing stuff, but she's also not remembering. I don't think she did it on
purpose. I think after you cast the sigil, you forget. So once she put it on the stone, you can see in her face that she completely forgot what is even there. So she's looking at it like, and then she just put it in like, this must belong to somebody.
Well, she does that throughout the show in general when she has her like visions of the future. So like say something random like, oh, don't do this or do this or whatever else because she's in the moment. And then come back
she has
like,
those moments in the show, yeah. But that one with the sigil, when she was the one who cast it, I was like, oh, that makes sense because she doesn't remember. But Teen also wouldn't have remembered either.
So basically, just so that I'm clear, making it was enough to get the job done. She didn't have to deliver it. It didn't have to get to him. Okay.
That's what I was trying to figure out because
making it is enough. But like again, like when they were talking about the sigil, and just what I remember from sigils because I do spell work as well. So what I remember.
Speaking of, here they are. You know what I mean? This is her example. These are sigils, by the way.
What I remember from sigils is once you cast the sigil, whether you write it down or whatever, you don't remember. So that's why when she was the one who cast it and she instantly forgot, I was like, so that is how that works. And she had absolutely no idea. And it honestly could have went to his parents. Like his parents could have been the one, like his dad could have came in or one of his friends could have came in and put on the jacket and it would have applied to the person whose pocket, like who had the jacket on. But because he kept it with him all the time, that's how it ended up working because he kept it with him all the time. And then we saw that he broke it. And that's how Agatha was finally able to hear him because he broke the puzzle piece because he carries it all the time. Had he left it at home, I don't think it would have applied.
So it's like a 2-part spell to make it and to make sure that the person that you want it cast on has it. Now, with that being said, I take issue with him getting his jacket because I'm just like, this is a real reach for me because dude made an announcement about an emergency. Who got that boy that jacket? And she didn't even know who it was. If she would have said the guest of honor, then okay, I get that. But I was just like, that's a little bit of a reach for me for him to get the jacket and all the chaos.
And they had a high school prom where all these boys that don't have them jackets when they dance and nobody like nobody.
So pull up that other comment.
Yeah, I got you.
So this one, when Billy was making the sigils in the room, he's probably cast several of them and doesn't know what it is because he can't remember once he's cast it. So once you write it down, you have no idea what it is. And he just kept looking at it. So I think that's one of the fun things about that spell in particular is because you're never going to remember what it is. As many times as you write it, you're like, what is this? Let me figure it out. I'm going to look it up. But then when he finally did look it up, after all of the research he was doing, he found a picture of it, of sigils, so that he could be like, okay, so this is a sigil. I figured it out. I'm going to stop writing it down now. He's really smart. Billy in the comics is really smart. So
I mean, like even just with his investigation work, like we know that for sure.
Yeah, his investigation work is fucking amazing.
Oh yeah.
His investigation work is amazing.
I ain't gonna hold you. That was that horror trope from the 2000s where search engine here, find every notable artifact or like article about this thing. But this person.
When I hack into the system and I type in these 3 buttons, it's going to shut down the entire grid. That's the kind of research he was doing.
Speaking of his research, I really like them taking us down the rabbit hole I thought that was really
love
dope
that.
how they had like
I
these
love
little
that.
Reddit rooms for witches,
Mhm.
basically. I was in how Agatha was, part of history all over the place. She's Jolene or the other woman in Jolene and all that other stuff.
I
So I
love
thought
it.
that was really cool.
It made her a lot more menacing because I think
Oh,
didn't they imply she was behind the Hindenburg?
Yes, they
and the
did.
Titanic.
And the Titanic. Yes, they
I
did.
was
Damn,
like,
They sure did.
I
yo,
think I got bodies, boy.
yeah,
Yeah.
that quest for power.
Well, he is gay, so
He
of
is.
course.
I also want to say this is an example of proper representation for people of that culture. You feel what I'm saying? Because a lot of people grievances with either Marvel or DC when they feel like it's being forced or pushed on people, it's because like certain characters wasn't originally this, but then they make them that just to fit the agenda. But Billy's always been like this, even in the comics. You feel like so I mean, so like seeing him come to light, it's like finally we get our person. I say it's my person, but for them people, this is their person. It's like, hey, we got our person, our representation, and he's always been this way. This is so I can thoroughly appreciate it. I'm sure other fans can also appreciate that. But
I love that they did his actual background too.
Right. Do you want to? Let's just go ahead and bring him up because I did every character, so we gonna, you know what I mean, keep bringing up these type of characters. You know what I mean? I just gotta. This is Billy right now. We on the Billy spill. You know what I mean? So
I will say,
Billy.
I'm not gonna lie. I think a lot of that backstory wasn't needed there. I feel like the show got off track a little bit for me in that episode. I love the episode, but I feel like we went too deep into the William Kaplan stuff and his romantic relationship stuff. It's cool to have it there. Cool. I know more about him, but I feel like I can learn that stuff later because you're putting him in the Young Avengers. That's for sure happening at some point. I need to know about this, like his connection to Agatha and this Riches Road stuff. They like went all around to give us information that we kind of already knew, and then gave us a lot of his personal backstory. And to keep it a buck, we really got this episode mostly for the cameo of Buddy. I'm blanking on his name.
Ralph Boner.
I forgot the actor's name.
Evan Peters.
Evan Peters.
We got him, AKA
Evan Peters, and
because I'm like
not Quicksilver, but he was pretending to be Quicksilver.
And for me, I ain't gonna lie, that was a little bit of an underwhelming. Like I just brought him back to again just give us more information we kind of already had. Like it's telling them who Agatha is, and I don't know. I feel like we didn't need that back. Like I feel like we could all we really needed to me, in my opinion, was like him getting like us understanding that Billy's in his body, and then you maybe show the family aspect so we can kind of understand where he is mentally in that, and then get back to the road. Because I feel like we're at a point now where they're kind of like stalling stuff to build up to that climax episode because they didn't have enough to match. Like I feel like they were chopping stuff up because they didn't have enough to fill up time. Personally,
I agree. They could have left a lot more on the cutting room floor with that one. Maybe half of an episode, not a whole episode. Right. Maybe half of it could have been his backstory, and half of it could have been them continuing to go at it on the road. Because they was going at it a bit. So,
hey, his name when he presented himself was way wilder, dude. Just saying. I'm not.
His online name was Mr.
Crazy.
Well, so that part for this comment, they fast forwarded 3 years.
Right.
So we may have been just getting him on screen, and we may have been just getting him on screen, but they had been together for a while because he had been Billy or William Kaplan for 3 years at this point.
Okay, that makes sense.
So we may just now be seeing the boyfriend, and like the parents even knew the boyfriend. They're like, oh, he's not coming in. So that was like the little indicator that they've been together for a while.
That was my thing. I'm like, why is he in a if you're so like conflicted on who you are, you're doing all this research, when did you have time for a romantic relationship?
I feel you on that, but a lot of people do that.
Billy's always been like that though, because he does a crap ton of stuff and then has had the relationships that he's had, especially when he got married to Hulkling. So he's always been able to juggle both of those things. And it's also something that it's also something that he's been. I mean, he's also doing it late at night in his room, by himself. So I mean, obviously his boyfriend isn't there all the time. So in the time that he's not with his boyfriend or doing his homework, he's doing all of this research. And I mean, he's sitting there going, I said
He just
because
looks
they
so
were-
like conflicted when he first got there. He's like, I don't know who I am,
I
what's
love
going
that.
on.
I
And
love
in
that.
3
and
years,
I
it's
feel
like,
that for
all right,
him.
I'm cool with it now.
I feel that for him because he didn't know who he was because again, like he was a soul drifting that was created by magic, just drifting and finds a dead body to go into, and then he has to become this person. And again, I'd like that they fast forwarded the 3 years because now he's had 3 years to be William Kaplan.
Right.
And he's had 3 years to figure all this shit out. So while he's being William Kaplan, he's also trying to figure out, am I actually William Kaplan, or am I Billy? Like, what am I missing?
Identity crisis.
Yeah.
And I didn't think we got enough of that too. That was my thing. Is like I think they gave us a taste in the beginning, but like post time skip, it was like
that a little bit. Yeah.
He was 100% like William after that time skip. He's like, yeah, I'm dating a guy that knows me as William. My family knows me as William. I have no more like confusion as who I am. I'm just like, damn, this just I didn't see enough of that dynamic personally for me. And then if we would have like stayed with that development the whole time, I could have maybe seen that. But the fact that that was such a short-lived part of the episode kind of like doubled down on the fact of like, okay, y'all just filling up time here.
But you also can't have it both ways. You either want half of the episode to be about him and the road, or you want the whole episode to be about him and his identity crisis.
I'm team y'all.
No,
go ahead. No. You the special guest.
From my perspective, when it comes to what was given, I think I'm basing my opinion based on what was given. What they gave us was a lot in areas that I feel like we just didn't need. I'm cool with, I would have loved to have seen more of the conflict that you're talking about, because he basically revealed to his mama that he could hear her thoughts. I want to see what that dynamic looked like, at least for half a second, because the average parent is sticking you straight into therapy. Like, they were already talking about putting him in therapy when he went to the doctor's visit. So I'm like, it's the quality of what was being shown that's the problem. I don't care if they took 2 episodes to tell his story, as long as they gave me quality stuff to look at. And it's like a lot of that stuff just did not help the story along. A lot of that stuff did not help me understand Billy all that much better. You know what I mean? It's just, it was I just kind of dead time. That's the problem. So I'm like, if this is what you're going to give us, you could have gave me half of that and I could have been good. But if you're going to give me more, just more quality. So that's where I'm coming from. I just wanted more quality, just something else.
I think I can agree with that. But like also where they took it was more of, we want to show you these connections. So when they showed his connection to Alice, when they showed his connection to Jen, when they showed his connection to Lilia, when they showed how, because a lot of people kind of just like, based on the conversations I was seeing, a lot of people were like coming up with theories of, I feel like he's known them before, or he's seen them before, and I like just how he interacts with them, and I like all kinds of stuff. So like what they gave in the episode was, I was like, okay, I'm good with this, because
I don't think he could have
wanted the background. I wanted to, and I definitely wanted to see how Agatha was rolling around in this freaking town under a spell by herself. She talking to herself in her house. Ain't nobody else there. She's not in
Mr. Boner's house, Ralph's house.
Yeah, she ain't in the police precinct. She didn't kick him over in no chair. I'm like, I love that. I wanted to
that
see
was great.
That part. I wanted to see that behind the scenes part. I do agree that if you're gonna do it all the way, or do it half.
The main issue I had, well, 2 things. It's kind of the double off of Celeste point. The issue I had mostly with it was that you revealed this new ability that he has to read minds that we didn't get any kind of allusion to up until this point. That on the road was probably a significant thing that really would have like stopped or played a part into most of the stuff, because we've seen Agatha like scheming the entire time. If you can read her mind or everybody else's mind, why did that not come into play then at that point? Why are we just now getting this now? You introduce this game-changing ability and then don't have any kind of prelude to it when he has it the whole time.
About it. They're introducing the fact that he can read minds, which means on the road, he probably can. Which means when he said, I'm not really that nice, you have to think about all the stuff that's happened up until this point. And the fact that he's just trying to get to the end specifically because he wants to find his brother. He doesn't actually give, he is literally just like Agatha at this point. He doesn't give a fuck about anything that's happening right now because he has that ability.
I want to touch on that, what you just said when you say just like Agatha. I want to touch, well, we can bring her up, but I'll wait. With the whole Agatha thing, she said that he's more exactly like his mother. And I would say I agree with that, because even just playing Two-Face, even just that, how the fuck he's that manipulative and able to like put on this very innocent guise that, you know what I mean?
What's a spell book?
Oh man, like
there's always a spell for this. Yeah,
you guys let me in
all
the
of that.
club. Oh, thank you. Like, but also with that point being said, like, I'm very intrigued, and maybe Kaori, you can explain this. When they did like a test on him to like, it was somebody, I think it was Ralph. Ralph sprayed with him some shit like some witch repellent. Maybe the witch repellent didn't work, but he like sprayed him and it was like, oh, like it didn't work on him. Like he's not a witch. It works on all witches. And then they did the same. The witches did something too, because they was like, oh, he can't join the circle because he's not a witch. And if he was a witch, then he'd be able to, it was something that happened in the show where he could have or should have had a reaction to, and the spell didn't work or some shit. So how is that possible if we know the nigga has magic? Like, I don't get it.
That's more of the
He's
issue
not
I have
part of
with
the
it.
coven.
He's not part
That's
of the coven.
how they explained it with the wine thing. They said like why he didn't drink, because he wasn't part of the coven and because he was underage. But the first reason that they gave was he was never part of the coven. He's just like tagging along.
Well, plus
he
that
wasn't
Agatha
down
wanted
there
to
to
drink
open the
either.
door or anything.
Just keep in mind, Agatha was kind of hiding him from it.
You can't do that.
Say that again.
No, I'm saying like Agatha.
Oh, good.
No, go ahead.
Charlotte.
I didn't know who you were talking to.
Technically, yes.
No, I'm saying like Agatha was keeping him away from a lot of that. Like even with the wine thing, he was going to drink it. Like he said, "Oh, I'll drink it." He's like, "No." All the trials, she was keeping him away from it because at that point, I think she
thought
still
he was his kid.
maybe it was his.
She thought that was her child. Yes.
Initially, yeah.
She
Before
never
the
said that. So, like, because technically she does have a connection to him, though. Like, she did kind of see this dude, right? She kind of like the evil auntie. Like, he's Timmy Turner and she's Vicky. You know what I mean? Like,
so when her and Rio are talking, and Rio's like, "That boy is not yours." Up until that point, she was treating him like he was, because she thought that was her son. And they said because all of the stuff that happened with her son Nicholas happened at when Nicholas was a baby. So even if Rio hadn't have killed him or whatever, she would not, like they said, she would not have recognized her own son.
Right, even if it was in front of
if he came to the door.
So, and I knew it wasn't him because it was way too on the nose. I'm like, obviously that's not his kid. They played too much in our face.
The episode where Nicholas died, Nicholas Scratch is talking through the weed eater. So Nicholas is dead.
But we heard his voice. He was like, "Mama, no, stop."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Nicholas Scratch definitely dead, but in her delusion, weren't there trophies?
I'm gonna bring her up.
Like
Go ahead.
The age of a child, you know, when she was still under the spell, which kind of gave me an indication that Nicholas was older, but he did die as a baby.
I think he died. I think when Rio was explaining what happened in her job and the fact that the rumor was that she traded her son for the Book of the Damned, I think it was when he was a baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
The main issue is there's a lot of it's a very like simple like writing thing. There's a lot of telling and not showing. Like I feel like it's like, oh well, he was so manipulative as a wizard or as a witch, where he knew all this stuff. Well, okay, you didn't show me. It's as simple as like him showing a little smirk or him doing something off to the side.
Right.
I don't need a lot, but
I mean, but we still have 3
even with the mind reading. Let's say Agatha has an immediate thought to like do something that he maybe like winces or something. Like there's a lot of all along he had this ability and all along he knew this stuff. Some of it makes sense. Like with the factor of him knowing all the other witches, like we know that because he was literally leading her to most of the witches. Because Agatha wasn't even know where to find, like she didn't know where to find them at, and he like was mentioning a lot of the different spells that he knew about like how to get into the road, how to like the whole broom aspect of it. Like when they needed to get the brooms, he mentioned the broom stuff.
And to capitalize off your point, when they brought up Jennifer and they finally went to go visit her in, you know, her shop, yes, he was already a fan because he was watching her, you know, content and all that stuff. But I felt like in that moment when she was telling him no, he could have been using his abilities like, oh, isn't this going on? And isn't this going on? And oh, yeah, you know what I mean? So he was, you know what I mean, playing in niggas' faces the whole time.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
No,
So it makes
absolutely.
you
And
rewatch those things a little
think he
different.
killed
You know what I
Mrs.
mean?
Hart.
Like, oh, okay.
If
I
you get
will
a
take it one
flashback,
step further and say
Mhm.
that he could have even been controlling, what was her name, Lilia, with writing the names. He could have made her, if he has the same powers as his mama. I'm like, what have we been really looking at all along? You know what I'm saying? Even down to the crew, because what are the chances that that's the coven?
That's why I also think that he killed Mrs. Hart.
That was fire. That was
You know
fire. Hold on.
what?
Let me
Tap in.
tap in with that because that
Oh,
was
that was
hard
dope.
because I didn't even go deep into deeper thought like that. And I
Yeah,
like how you tied it in with all along.
Man,
like that was kind of
when
fire.
I
I
just
didn't
have to
write that down,
I'm
but
just
it
saying,
perfectly
like,
tied in.
when I started seeing people in his character development episode, the last one, I was like, who's to say that he didn't put this group together? Because he's, again,
that
like
is
you
exactly
said,
my
he's
thought
had
when
3
that
whole
happened.
years.
Yes,
He's had
that is
3
exactly
whole
my thought
years.
the whole time. 3 years,
So I'm
actually.
just like, I mean, I don't know what to believe, even down to the road. I'm like, is everything that they going through the road, is some of it his master illusions? Because we don't know Billy's powers and his capability. I'm kind of curious, like, what is real at this point? What is not somebody's backdoor? You know what I'm saying? I don't trust nothing anymore. Ever since that episode, I'm just like,
I trust
I'm like, because his mama made the whole. I had to go back and rewatch WandaVision because I'm gonna tell y'all I was lost because WandaVision was 3 years ago, and I was like,
right?
I have to now go back and watch because I don't understand some stuff. But rewatching WandaVision, she made a whole town, had people on autopilot on the outskirts. If she can do all that, why can't he do some powerful illusions and stuff like that? But it is questionable because he doesn't seem to be able to wield it at will, or maybe that's just what he wants us to believe. That could be part of his
exactly. I was thinking that. I was like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Ain't no way you controlling multiple powerful witches at the same time, and then you calm down like, oh, I can't get it up no more.
Well,
a
lot of the witches. Remember,
Okay.
a lot of the witches didn't. A lot of them were depowered. I know Jennifer got like she said her powers were still. She was sealed.
Jen is bound, yeah.
Lily
Jen is
had a
bound.
little something.
Lilia has her powers.
Agatha in the basement.
But most of her powers are for like premonitions. It's not.
Yeah,
a lot of
Lilia has her powers. Jen is bound. Agatha doesn't have any, and then except for what she took from Alice, and then Alice was the only one that full on had her powers.
Yeah, a lot of
Agatha's power. Who's to say Scarlet Witch took it and that Billy didn't? That's another thing I wonder about. Who really took her power?
Scarlet did take her.
He took them.
Billy did.
Yeah, because that was the key point in that background. That was the key point in that background when he was talking about when they had the anomaly and they're like, I think it's shrinking, and they had the car accident and all that stuff. At that time, that was around the time when they were having that whole thing. That was around the time that she took his powers, that she took her powers. So she took Agatha's powers, and then put her in that spell and locked her there. But but Billy once he figured out who he was, he figured out how to break it.
The issue I have with it is if you say he had all this master manipulation, when did he learn this stuff? When did he figure this stuff out?
He's had 3
because
years.
He didn't know it in those 3 years, though. In 3 years, all he was doing was researching the
anomaly.
We don't even know what Billy be looking at.
He was William Kaplan. He went into his William Kaplan persona in front of his family for 3 years. And in that 3 years, he has done a massive amount of research and come up with an entire spell book. Like that notebook he has is a book of shadows, which is a personal journal, and he has it full of spells. So at this point, all he's done is research spells and try to figure everything out. He's followed Jen's content. He's met Alice before, and he's been researching Agatha. So at this point, all he's doing is researching magic. So he doesn't have anything else to do except research and practice. And he's done it for 3 years. Being really good at magic, if you are a natural born magic user like he is, you're going to get it pretty quickly because that is his mama's son.
This was he didn't get it though. Like for a lot of those spells, he didn't get them on the first attempt. He was struggling for a lot of the times, and moments where his life was in danger and he could have used a spell to protect himself. He didn't do so. Like the Salem 7 were pulling up on him and like literally throwing Buddy around, and he was like, "All right, I'm gonna just hold back, I guess, even though I'm about to die potentially. I'm gonna just hold back on the road a couple of times with different trials."
That was Alice's trial.
No, I'm not talking about the trial. I'm talking about when they were trying to get to the road and the witches pulled up and he's getting tossed around upstairs. And they're potentially going to murder him.
He can't do anything against the Salem 7 either.
So that's my point. Like he has this wand, like he has this. I'm not gonna say Nexus being abilities yet, because we still don't know what the like central point of his abilities are yet. I guess we'll find it out.
But you can't. You also can't reveal him either in the very beginning. That was like the first episode. You can't reveal that in the first episode.
But that's my issue.
He's supposed to be an amateur.
That's my point, though. If we're getting to this point to where we're saying that he knew all this magic all along, and all these opportunities where his life was in danger, other people died, and things of that nature, he's just amassed it. Now, if you said it was a thing of similar to what was the second Doctor Strange movie, the Multiverse of Madness, where Wanda seems to have like a split personality. Okay, cool. I can take that to where maybe Billy's like evil and he's kind of like being held down. But even then, that wouldn't make much sense because we kind of talked about how he got into William's body and he was Billy the entire time. He was pretending to be William, so he doesn't have a split personality. He's acting to be somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, my issue is there's a lot of showing and there's a lot of telling and not showing. You're saying that he did all this stuff and all this was happening, but you literally showed me none of that, and I just have to be like, oh yeah, you're right. Since you said it, I'm just
there's this point right here is this: Agatha is able to sense spells. So had he revealed himself in the beginning, that's like a whole. Like the big reveal was episode 5, because everybody knows once you get to episode 5 for Marvel, episode 5 goes down. So that's where they're like, this is episode 5. If you haven't figured it out, this is Billy. But you can't do it in the first episode, because then that's just like, what is it that you have to look forward to in terms of the story that they're currently telling? So, I mean, at this point, the only thing you can be like, he has to pretend to be an amateur. And that's what Agatha actually pointed out when he was like, oh, my book. Oh, my book. Oh, what is this spell? Like, oh, what do you mean? What's a brute? Like when all the stuff that he was saying, and he had to pretend to be that, but he also has to get Agatha on the road. So if he can't get her on the road, the whole entire thing is pointless. The only way to do that is to pretend like you don't know what you're doing.
So real quick,
go ahead.
I have a question on what he just said, but also to talk about what everybody else is talking about. Yes, I think again, now that we watched episode 5, to Salissa's point and everybody in Kaori's, you have to go back and look at the episodes and see how he's moving to take away how you're seeing him in the show. Like, it is very believable that yes, he is the puppet master of all of this situation. So he's putting on the face, which is a good example when you're like, oh, well, why didn't he do it then? When you think about it, he did. And Agatha calls him out almost I think it's episode 1, where she's in her trance in that, you know, under that spell that Wanda put her in. And he's like, oh, you're in this spell. Oh yeah, no problem. Let me read it off. And then she's like, nigga, you ain't supposed to be able to do that.
He did.
Because I couldn't do that.
Right.
I couldn't do that. So what the fuck?
And she even put emphasis on that was the Scarlet Witch's spell. So in order for you to do that, nigga, you not this preemie that you trying to show me that you acting like, nigga. You're not you're not a peon, bro. Like, stop.
I think that was a reflex, though. I don't think he knew how to do that. I think he did that on reflex, is what I'm saying.
You don't recite a whole spell.
So he had to figure. So how spells work is, if you're trying to break one, you have to figure out what spell it is, and then you have to figure out the spell opposite of it in order to break it.
You.
So he had to figure out what spell she was under and then turn around and find that spell in his book and a plethora of research that he has done over 3 years in order to break that particular spell. And so when they did the background and he figured it out, that's when he pulled it out and he figured out what spell she was under. That's when he pulled it out. It was like, okay, it's this one. And it takes a lot of knowledge in order for you to figure out a spell, in order to figure out how to break that. And that's what I'm saying. He's over 3 years. He's done a crap ton of research on spells and all this other stuff, whether he's practiced them or not. He's practiced Latin. And that man speaks perfect Hebrew. And he's out here looking for spells, and he is out here saying that spell with absolutely no issue, breaking it. Yeah, he didn't know she was under a spell until and actually he didn't know she was under that spell until that night. But they knew she was under a spell after they talked to Ralph. So that's also something. Ralph was like, she got her magic taken away and she's under some spell Wanda put her under. I don't know which one it is, but she's under a spell right now. So he then had to figure it out. Exactly. Same night. He had to figure it out.
Before I say anything,
so here's the thing about Billy's abilities that I want to introduce is that maybe, because my perspective is I'm not confining him within 3 years, because Agatha said in WandaVision that it took many years just to create one convincing illusion, and she used a butterfly flying around the room as an example. So with that information, and she's a daughter of a witch, so she has the same goods as far as being born as a witch as Billy. My thing is, I don't think we should limit ourselves to 3 years, because we don't even know which Billy it is because of the multiverse, right? Now, if it's the Billy from the Hex, that Billy was little and that Billy screamed Tommy as soon as that body came to life. So clearly something was happening to him and Tommy when he even entered that body. I think we're assuming that it's the Billy from the Hex. But what if it's not? Could it possibly be a Billy from somewhere else? And that Billy comes with all of his memories because he's screaming for his brother for some reason. And so,
I can agree with that. That would
be fire.
I can agree with that.
However, explain how he's so powerful and so manipulative and how he can do all of this stuff.
Why would a child be able to do all that? You know what I mean?
So I think you have to think back to Multiverse of Madness as well, because in Multiverse of Madness, Billy is fairly powerful. The Billy that they showed is also fairly powerful. So, but in WandaVision, we've also seen that he was able to use his magic. So he's been using his magic for a while. Him and Tommy has been using his magic. Tommy's been using his speed for a while. So they were always together. And in Multiverse of Madness, it shows that they're always together. So I don't think they would have dug so deep into pulling a multiverse and also showing the WandaVision thing, because they timed it perfectly from the time that William Kaplan died in the car. Wanda closed that or took away that hex. And at that exact same time when she's said, and they had it echoing, when she said goodbye to her kids and the hex disappeared, when they disappeared, Billy woke up asking for Tommy. So I'm going to say it's the one from screaming for Tommy. So I'm going to say it's that one.
Happening.
I'm going to say it's that. I'm going to say it's the one from WandaVision.
It has to be.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm gonna let you.
It makes the most sense to be that one.
I'm gonna let you go. I'm pulling the Kanye. I'm gonna let you go. But real quick, let me sit this solicit Kool-Aid real quick, only because if you think about the multiverse, you feel what I'm saying? Like, the Wanda in the movie did visit the other kids from the other universe. What if something happened to that other Wanda to where it's a reverse effect, where that Wanda let me sip the Kool-Aid for a second.
We ain't say that. Go ahead.
what if there is just like how Wanda would do literally search the multiverse for her own family because that was stripped of her. What if we're getting that form of Billy? Because in the comics, that is what he does. He is searching through the multiverse. So it would make sense that he did do that. And I'm not sitting here saying this is a perfect fucking fan theory. I'm not saying it has holes in it. I get it. But what I'm saying is I like the theory. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, liking the theory is fine, but there would absolutely no point in them showing the WandaVision thing if the multiverse thing is what was happening.
And that's
why they timed it like that. So from the time that William Kaplan dies in the car to the time that hex disappears, that's the Billy that we're getting.
But what if, because of when Wanda finally was fully realized in that moment, her power is like a beacon. We even saw in the show Loki where Kane the Conqueror was like, this is the moment, and he's sensing that presence, and this is where the timeline shifts. We all know that people of like witches can sense magic. What if Billy was searching the multiverse, found his mom in that moment?
The issue, hold on, Kara, let me get this.
That whole situation with Loki coincided with WandaVision.
I'm gonna let Charlie go when he's
the
ready.
issue. There's a lot of issues with that. First and foremost, with the multiverse stuff, Wanda was able to jump in between dimensions. One, because she was a Nexus being, and then two, because she was studying the Darkhold for like months on end to learn how to do that. If you're telling me that Billy with because at this point we know that he was researching magic. But we also know up until that point, we had not seen him actually do any magic up until that point. The whole point of going to the road was for him to get magical abilities because he didn't know he had any up until that point.
But that was a lie. That's the point. That was proven to be a lie.
When do we?
That's not true. He was making it about him wanting to go get power, but he wanted when he would that whole background thing when he had Tommy's name circled and it said Tommy missing, and it was like in the Witches Road ballot or the Witches Road gives you what's missing, and Agatha pointed that out. You're wanting what's missing, or you're wanting your brother. So he can say it's about power, and he can get power at the end. But that whole situation, him going to the road, is more so about getting Tommy.
I get that, but there's nothing to confirm that he knows that. If we get a flashback where he's casting all kinds of spells, cool. But up until this most recent episode, we had not seen him do any magic on his own without the aid of the other witches. And that's my big thing. Because he did.
He broke a spell without them. He broke a spell without them.
Which spell we talking about?
The one that had Agatha trapped. He broke that.
From which episode are you talking about? I'm blanking.
The one where the first one when she's trapped in that spell from WandaVision.
Yeah, that yes.
Broke that.
Yeah.
Nobody.
I'm not talking about breaking that with the ritual. I'm talking about him, like what he did when he unlocked his mother's abilities with the crown and that kind of magic ability. He's at least maybe if he discovered it and was practicing that up until that point, cool. But we've never seen him do anything to that degree up until that point. That's my big thing.
Yeah, that's
him learning how to do little.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say we gotta let Theory's theory, which is that it's the Billy from the Hex. The Billy from the Hex was getting down a little bit in WandaVision at the end.
Yeah, he was.
So
they were
not like
together.
he was absolutely completely oblivious.
Yeah, when they were fighting together, he was assisting. He was using his magic. And so it's the Billy from the Hex, but he didn't know a bunch of magic. He was, he was learning from his mother, but they didn't get a lot of time together. However,
but she didn't even know it. So the two differences here we have is one person knows magic, but didn't have the super magic ability to cast it at that point. Scarlet Witch had all that magical ability, but she didn't know nothing about witchcraft up until that point. She thought she was a mutant up until until WandaVision happened up until that point. And then she got the Darkhold and studied magic after that fact. In WandaVision, she had no prior knowledge of witchcraft and wizardry. She just thought she was a mutant and had mutant-like abilities.
No, she did though. She's the one who cast the hex. So she already knew what she was doing. She knew exactly what she was
doing. They said she cast that hex after she had that whole mental breakdown.
When she had him, but she still knew that she knew what she was doing because she leaves the hex when people are trying to come in and disrupt what she's doing. She knew exactly what she was doing. And then
that was off her reflex though. They didn't show her planning that out with us. They didn't show her researching that.
that whole
Shut the
situation
fuck
when
up,
Sword
dude.
was like, "Oh, we're coming in," and all that stuff, and when what's her face, when not Monica, is that Monica? When Monica broke character, she knew what she was doing, and then so when they were having the conversation with Agatha walked her through her magic abilities. So she wasn't calling it magic; she was calling it a
That's
hex.
my point, though. I'm saying that was off of reflex.
And then she even went on to like say, "I knew what I was doing, and they don't have to forgive me." So she knew what she was doing, but her studying the Darkhold later is completely different. But either that, like outside of her, Billy knew he was using magic. Billy knows what he's doing.
I'm saying with Wanda,
Billy is the same Billy from the Hex.
Wanda again.
The problem with Billy being from the Hex is like, how can he possibly be real when Wanda created him? That's
he's
the
not real.
But that's how he is.
That's the point.
The soul has some realness
it's
to
magically
it. And if you know
created.
the comics,
she
the comic gives
souls.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, even in the comics, he's not a real person. He's a creation of magic.
He's a creation of magic that finds a vessel.
They actually make a deal with somebody in the comics to create these two children. So I'm not gonna say who, because that could be a
it wasn't
reveal.
A deal with Mephisto.
Is that dude? His name starts with the letter M.
She stole Mephisto. She stole pieces of Mephisto's soul.
That Mephisto.
And then Mephisto took them back. And that's how they ended up like in one of the backgrounds, Mephisto took that shit back. And it was actually Mr. Pandemonium. And so, but she was able, like their souls were recreated and then found vessels. And once the souls were created and found vessels, the souls killed the person whose body they were taking and took over.
Con, can you bring up Serenity's?
So maybe Billy.
The only thing that's happening in this one is that Billy already died. Yeah. But Billy.
Which one? Wait, hold on. Is it this
right
one?
There. Yeah, so this is what I was saying. She subconsciously was casting magic, but she did not know what she was doing. She knew how to control it from like doing it, but she did not know spells. She didn't know what sigils were. She did none of that research up until that point, until she even discovered the Darkhold. Because she didn't even know she was a witch up until Agatha revealed all that stuff to her. Agatha explained all that. And that's
perfectly fine. But what I'm saying is Billy knew what he was doing. Billy was doing magic. Billy knew he was doing magic. And then that Billy is the Billy that we are getting here. And then he spent a crap ton of time doing research. So he had plenty of time to figure these spells out.
Right. He was doing magic that any witch could do. My biggest point is the magic that he can, like the Scarlet Witch like abilities that he had, all that stuff. He had no idea he had that ability up until
we don't know. He had no idea he had that ability.
Okay, if we get a flashback and he says that, I can only go off of what I've seen thus far, what they presented thus far, which isn't a lot.
Like what they're presenting thus far, he already knew this. And when he said that I'm not that nice, that's why the mind reading comes into play. Because him saying I'm not that nice, I feel like he's been reading minds this entire time. And he's letting it happen because he wants his brother. He don't give a damn.
Facts.
He wants his revenge on Agatha too. Because that ain't shit. That's the only reason he ain't killed her ass yet. But my thing is,
we tried.
One of my favorite points of this is, as I said earlier, I'm 100% sure that he killed Mrs. Hart.
Why?
Wait, was he the one who fed it to her?
What would be his motivation?
Because so
was he the one who fed her the potion?
You know, the sigil works on witch folk. So the witches there were not able to hear who he was. Agatha couldn't hear, Jen couldn't hear, Alice couldn't hear, Lilia couldn't hear. Mrs. Hart is not a witch.
I think that was clear.
Talk your shit.
Mrs. Hart heard who that was. And so
bring the Kool-Aid.
Because he has this plan going up. Because if you watch that episode with the potion, Lilia does point out she had 2 glasses of wine and she was only given 1 potion. However, when she hit that oven, she was alive. She was moaning and moving her arms. And it was not until Lilia brought her into the oven and he went after her. Lilia was not anywhere near her when they slid all the way down. She came down, Billy came down, and they were like together just about.
I'm not gonna lie, that's bad writing at that point. If you're telling me
Agatha came down.
you set a precedent saying that this poison will kill her, and in order for her to be saved from the poison, she needs to drink 2 antidotes, but she only drinks 1, can somehow survive not being a witch. And then Billy went back to like, hey, we're just going to kill her.
They're assuming that she needed 2 doses of the antidote. And so Lilia was trying to blame Jen because Jen is the potions witch. And so, of course, if you're thinking about Elwife, some poisons don't actually need a 1-to-1 ratio. Dosage. It doesn't need a 1-to-1. So if she had 2, she wouldn't have to have 2. The fact of the matter is, she was alive when she hit that fucking oven.
Wow.
And then
I gotta rewatch that shit now.
Billy goes, Mrs. Hart is dead. And I'm sitting here like, huh. So then when Agatha's like, I didn't think you had it in you. And then he's like, I'm not that nice. And I'm
bitch,
like,
you don't even know. You don't even know.
Her commenting on that was when he killed all 3 of them by dumping them into the mud river, not like all.
No, she said that before. When Mrs. Hart died, and the next episode, she's like sitting over Mrs. Hart, looking at her. She's like, didn't know you had it in you. And he's digging the grave for her, and he goes, didn't know who had what in them. And she just looks at him and winks. She doesn't say any other words. And he just looks at her. He's like, okay.
That
and
is an interesting
moment. I gotta watch that. It was
definitely an interesting moment. You know, and I like where you're going with that, Kaori, for sure. I'm right there with you. I just would think that his motivation would be to get the black heart there that he wanted in the first place. Rio. Not so much because he wanted Rio because he wanted Rio. She said, my heart is black and it beats for you. And then we got the black heart on the thing. So clearly Rio was supposed to be there.
Rio
and
Agatha
was dead set on not bringing that black heart into the fold. Who else would she be dead set on like that other than Rio? So I'm thinking maybe he killed her to get Rio there.
So let me bring her up. You feel me? Because I wanted to. This was said way earlier, and I've been waiting. She the last slide. You know what I'm saying? Gotta talk about her.
I agree. Rio know where the bodies are buried. That's for sure.
I get the Abby Plaza hype now. I get it. I understand.
That's my girl.
I didn't understand before I watched this.
I love her. That's
I understand.
I've loved her since Parks and Recs, man. Like she is amazing. Did y'all see her in My Old Ass? It wasn't she great?
That's fucking amazing.
I kills it every time.
You saying this version is gonna be okay? I don't know.
See
a lot of my issues with it is just like that from a pure writing and directorial standpoint. You're telling me that he just is doing all these things, and you minimally showed it to me. If you go into an episode where you give me a 20 to 25 minute flashback of him reading minds and him doing all this stuff, I'm just like. That's just nasty word.
Yo, was that Clue? I like the way it was Billy in the
Duke
kitchen.
Is hilarious,
bro. That was great. But no, I feel what you're saying. Like you want more, but we got 3 episodes left and maybe other seasons. You know what I'm saying?
Billy's boyfriend did text him. The whole situation with trying to get the coven together. They needed a green witch, and they even actually said that they needed a green witch. And bless you. And Rio is, like she said, the green witch. So because she didn't want Rio in the coven, she went and got Mrs. Hart, who was fucking gardening, and was like, "Oh, she's actually a green witch because y'all saw her outside planting shit, right?" And she even said, she's like, so I don't want to be part of the coven or nothing like that. I don't want to be like one of the witch folk, but this is what you guys do, right?
We're gonna see. I'm already
that's all we can do. It's all theories.
I'm just like, that's just such a messy way to write that. That's just my thing. I like me watching a lot of this stuff. That's the issue that sometimes Marvel has, where it's a lot of tell and don't show, where you'll have something happen, but they'll go back and be like, whoa, in this moment, this is when this happened. When you wrote that, they do a lot of J.K. Rowling shit, where they do something and didn't originally write it that way, and then go back after the fact and say, well, this is what I meant to do. I'm like, no, that's not the fuck what you meant to do, because that makes no sense why that would happen at that point in time.
I feel like this is something that they wanted to do, and I think They do put a lot of red herrings. They do put a lot of red herrings. I do want justice for Alice. And I believe somebody actually
Agreed.
did point out that in that episode where Alice dies, I have to go back and watch it because I want to make sure. But somebody pointed out that Billy is the one who pushed her to help. But he didn't expect for her to die. So that was the catalyst that made him do what he did at the end of the episode. And I do want to point out, by the way, Rio was in that house and Rio did not come outside.
Yeah, where is Rio right now?
That's
a good question.
Rio did not come outside. After Alice died, Rio is still in the house. I said, why is she there and not outside with everybody else?
Of course not. When did Agatha get that damn vine? When did that vine get there? Because I remember when they dumped her into that mud pit, I didn't see a vine anywhere around her. And then the next episode, there's magically a vine in the pit that she can grab to get out.
I don't know. I wasn't paying that close attention.
That's how she got out, because he meant to kill her right then. Like, he killed all three of them right then and there. And was going to finish the road on himself, like by itself. So I'm like, how the hell? When the hell did that get? And that's the stuff I'm talking about. Where like, I feel like, I think they reshot some of the stuff and re-edited some of the stuff to make it make sense. But you can see like the little holes where like the editing and the directing was kind of off, because some of this shit doesn't make sense because you didn't show me that. You're telling me it happened.
Actually, I think Alice is the protector.
Maybe we'll see it later, but it really is just different styles of storytelling. You know, there's the Alfred Hitchcock storytelling, which I particularly prefer. I like it when you tell me up front who the bad guy is, because it makes it more interesting when I'm watching the bad guy do bad guy things and everybody else doesn't know. So it's like how Alfred Hitchcock said, you know, if you tell the audience that a bomb is under the table, but everybody doesn't know, now the tension is crazy for the whole time. I like that. I'm not a fan of the surprises, but other people are. You know what I'm saying? So the surprise element, it was just like, oh man, he the Scarlet Witch son, that's Billy. What? Everybody goes crazy. So it's just two different approaches. I'm not mad at either one.
Were these few comments that came up. So she did absorb Alice's power. I don't, but Alice's protection came from her tattoo.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it would be absorbing that. However, somebody did say, I think Rachel said, why is nobody concerned with Alice not Alice, but Rio not being there? Neither one of them have said anything about the fact that Rio is not standing there, because Rio has yet to come out. And then Rio being a green witch, now that you pointed out the vine,
green
witch,
she could have gave her that.
They have that sent her the vine. I don't know, but Rio is also absent, so that could make sense. But I guess we'll find out in this next episode. I don't know.
But they have a plan. They've been down this road before, so I think they have a plan. Because remember, you get the bodies, I get the power. They have a plan.
Keep the power.
No, she kept it. She still has it. When she absorbs it, she's got that. She's got to forget.
Yeah, she kept it.
But to your point though,
I'm sorry.
Well, she can control it. No, I'm saying to your point though, with the Hitchcock stuff, I agree. I think the issue that we have here is that they're implying that, oh, he was a secret. Because I agree, I enjoy that as well. I'm not against a plot. I love whodunit, so I'm not against like the twist of this person did it all along. The issue I have is the minimal breadcrumbs and the minimal, like from a directorial aspect. Like, you haven't shown me that he's subconsciously doing anything or purposely doing a lot of this stuff. It's like, hey, this is happening. And I think a lot of it is, it's the issue we've had with a lot of the Marvel shows. I think a lot of it, I don't know when they shot this, but I know the issue they have with a lot of the COVID stuff, especially for Falcon and the Winter Soldiers, they had to reshoot and re-edit a lot of that. Like, there's an entire subplot of like a virus from the Falcon and Winter Soldier thing that was taken out. They had to reshoot and recut that whole thing out because of COVID, because they didn't want to do that with that hype going on. I can adamantly tell there's a lot of stuff missing from this thing, a lot of edits done to cut certain stuff out, so you didn't see it too early in the episode. And I feel like we're about to get a flashback in the next episode, or maybe the one after that, that's going to be like, he did all this stuff all along, but you didn't show me any of that stuff because you cut a lot of it out, because you would have revealed too much too soon. That's why I'm like, it just doesn't feel like it's connecting the right way to me, at least. But maybe I'm looking too hard into it. That could be it, but
I feel like you are.
I don't think
it's
it's too early. I don't think it's too hard, but I think it's too early because it's not over yet. We got to see where we go. You know, we got to.
Because I ain't gonna lie, that Vine shit bothered me. That bothered me so bad. Because I remember I could watch the prior episode again. And like, when did she get the fucking Vine? When did the Vine get there? And it is magically there. All of a sudden.
I feel like whoever just said Rio, because Rio is absent and Rio is the Green Witch. I feel like if because she wants to help her girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, ex-wife, whatever you want to call it.
Billy's sitting there the whole time though. Why wouldn't Billy stop that? Billy just like chilling right there by the
because Billy was thinking about all of the things that he did, and I want to say honestly that Billy knew Agatha was gonna get her ass up because he could have walked, he could have left, but he did not seem at all surprised that Agatha got her ass up.
I thought it was that he didn't intend to kill her at all. Just he had a little bit of a temper tantrum, like she said.
That's the whole thing with Alice is the catalyst that happened there because, I said this in my TikTok video. If we had not have lost Alice, I don't think we would have gotten a Billy Maximoff reveal until like towards the end almost, because there's nothing happening to somebody he has become close with to where he feels like he needs to like reveal himself. But Agatha did kill her, and she was the only one of all of them. Really, Alice was the only one of all of them that even wanted to talk to him. She was like the first one to talk to him and like talk to him about herself and answer his questions. And they teamed up when they went to go in Jen's trial, when they went to go look for all that stuff. So like he felt a connection with her, and Agatha killed her. So at that point, I hate you. Like I'm pissed because what the fuck? You're fucking my shit up. You're fucking my shit up.
So are we saying that he had those Scarlet Witch abilities the entire time?
I feel like
he was aware of them?
I think so for sure. Remember, I believe this is a mature, seasoned Billy. I feel like so. I definitely believe it.
The only issue I have with that there is like if he put it in his mind like I'm going to kill her, and then attempted to use his abilities again to kill her, and now he just can't use them all of a sudden. I'm like, okay, was he not aware of how they work beforehand? Or did he just discover the abilities just now? That's why I think he didn't even have that magic until that moment in time. Because if you got it in your mind, you want to kill somebody, like, why can I not just use them now all of a sudden?
Yeah, I definitely I knew who it was
now. I think he's still trying to dumb it down. He messed up, had a little temper tantrum, and now he's trying to reel that shit back in the best that he can by like, oh, spark. I'm sorry, I guess I can't do it on command.
Well, what does he have
Probably
to gain
just
to
more
do that
smoke and mirrors. Huh?
He still needs Agatha to get to the end of the road. Whatever it is that he's planning that involves her, he still needs her to get there. So that's why that mud trap, it was just like something he did because he was mad. And I feel like he's more in control of his powers when he's calm and things like that. So he still needs her for whatever it is in his mind that he needs her for. So
he tried to kill her again, though. Like after that, when she got out the mud, he tried to kill her again.
So, quick question. Two things.
He got mad at her because of the things that she said, and then his powers fizzled out. I don't think he wanted to kill her then.
I think that's an act. I don't think that was real. But
I don't call it act.
Two things. Two things, my brother. So one of my things is I feel like Billy has so you, Charlie,
you got it.
You are a fan of what is it called? God of War, correct?
Okay.
Yes,
you're correct.
Okay. So with that point being said, it's kind of like how we have the Allfather, right? When he infiltrated the camp and he's pretending to be somebody that he's not, he also had temper tantrums. He also revealed himself in a couple of ways that he had to backtrack and try to cover up. So do you not believe that Billy could be doing the same thing? Because my theory is not even just theory, but this whole time he's been asking from the get-go, from the beginning of the show to the couple of episodes before, when, to her point, which would make sense, when he killed Mrs. Hart. I'm just gonna say it's canon. I believe you. I'm gonna say yes. I'm sipping all the Kool-Aid. If he killed Mrs. Hart, you feel what I'm saying? maybe his point was to replace her, because this whole point he's been trying to be a part of the crew. So maybe he's trying to replicate what Agatha did and take all their powers. I don't know what his end game is. I don't know what he has to do with what's his ultimate goal outside of his brother. But I know consistently throughout the show, he keeps asking to replace somebody. So
again, that I'm not against, because we know that he can't even get to the road without a coven. So he needs Agatha and the witches to get to the road, because he needs to find Billy. We know once he's on the road, it makes sense for him to try to. The whole theory about him killing Mrs. Hart, I'm not against. I think that makes sense, because you need a green witch to continue on. I'm not against that at all. She was kind of annoying me in the show anyway. I thought her inclusion was kind of random anyway. But I agree with that as well. The only issue I'm having is that he's having, like, for you to say he's this, like,
okay, that makes sense,
super strong. Like, I can accept the fact he's a mastermind, or he's like planning all this out. Cool. But his super abilities that he used, that he like got triggered on some Super Saiyan type of situation and then tried to kill her again, he was fully content at that moment in time of trying to continue the road by himself. Because once you make up the mind to kill her and reveal yourself to her, it doesn't make much sense for you to then like act like, oh, they don't work. My abilities don't work now. And then try to, like, what is that gain for you? Because at this point, you're already revealed. She knows you have power. She knows who your mother is. You're not. What do you have to hide at that point?
But that's what I'm saying. It's the same thing with the All-Father in God of War. Remember, he was like, "Oh, I'm a pacifist. I'm not the God of War no more. I don't kill." And what did he did when he found out that he was being played the whole time? Even though he was still masquerading as somebody else, he killed somebody. And then he tried to take it. It was too many plot holes into his character. We know literally Billy has practiced in the mirror trying to be somebody else. So he could easily be trying to put on the face. And then once she actually got in his face and touched on his buttons to trigger him to act out, that's why he acted out. So now he's trying to pull back and now play the long game to his end goal.
Agatha's really good at that.
The only thing you have
that out. Agatha's really good at pushing buttons of the Maximoffs, because they were reflecting what she had been saying to what she said to Wanda during that whole last sequence between her and Wanda, and what she was saying to Billy. So
the only thing you have misunderstood about the situation, Colin, is once Odin made it known that, okay, yeah, I was Ares the entire time, he didn't try to become Ares again and try to trick him with the same trick twice. That's my point. Once you reveal to Agatha, like, yeah, I'm Billy, I have these. Well, she already knew even before you use the abilities, because she did the whole thing of like, you're just like your mother. So she already knows that, which is why he went ahead and like crashed out and tried to kill her once. And then you try to kill her again and you act like your powers don't work. Why are you trying to act like she knows who you are? She knows the powers you have now because you've shown it to her on full display. Why are you trying to act like they don't work?
She only knows a fraction of it, though. She only knows some of it. She doesn't know his full. So
she doesn't even know the full. She just needs to know he has the abilities.
I also want to point out that because speaking about him being a mastermind, I love the fact that when he used his power, he used it on the other witches to throw her into there. He didn't actually directly attack her. So,
because he just seen what happens when you do that, right?
That when he pump faked and said, "Ooh, bitch," he was like, "Oh shit, if I do it,"
because he does not want his powers to be absorbed and die. So he has to hold back, because he watch what just happened to Alice.
If he had enough sense to do that, why didn't he have enough sense to fucking throw a vine at her or throw a rock at her? Because he has telekinesis.
Come on, bro. She got powers now.
You do it too much.
She didn't use them when he had witches drag her off. Because she had powers when he tried to kill her the first time, and she didn't use them.
Because he put the other two girls in the ground. So now, how does he attack her virtually now?
I'm talking about in that moment when he has those two drag her off to dump her into a mud pit. Why did she not use the powers to stop that? Why did she just accept death? He literally tries to kill her by dumping her in there.
Death was imminent. Like, this is Agatha we talking about. Do we really think that Billy really thought that he was gonna kill her by throwing her in some mud off the road?
If that's the case,
she is like that bitch. Agatha is the one.
Mud trap. It's just a mud trap. It's not something that can kill them.
Agatha literally had that whole back and forth saying that he killed them. That's when the whole conversation about I'm not as nice as you think I am, because he said I didn't think you had it in it to kill those two.
No,
Well,
she
maybe
didn't say
them,
that.
but
She
not
didn't say
Agatha.
that then. She said, "I didn't think you had it in you when Mrs.
Not that
Ball was
not
dead."
that verbatim, but she made the comment about him killing those two.
They're not
Getting
dead.
rid of the other two witches.
She assumes they're dead.
She assumes they're dead, but they're not dead.
But that's my point. If she's assuming they died from the mud trap, why would she not assume that he tried to kill her by dumping her in a mud trap?
But maybe that's
All
her
he did
smoking
was dump her
mirrors.
in a
Maybe
mud
that's
trap.
her making Billy think that he
Yeah,
has
that's
the,
just
you know
him.
what I'm
That's
saying?
her-
Like they might
literally
not
her
be dead and
pushing
she
his
might know that.
button.
That's a lot of wasted scenes. If we're doing all this to be like, all right, they're doing this checkmate back and forth. She allowed herself to get dumped into a potentially death scenario. That's a lot of wasted scenes and a lot of wasted moments there.
The only thing that did was he knows more about it, but the only thing that did was, one, it showcased his power. He did not attack her directly because he would have definitely died. Just watch what happened to Alice. And the mud trap is a mud trap spell. It's a very basic spell. And you notice if he felt like he killed her, he could have just left.
He was sitting there.
He was sitting there waiting for her to get her ass out. And he broke the sigil that was there. He waiting on her. So she finally gets out. He's either waiting on her or he's waiting on Rio to bring her ass upstairs. So I think
he's waiting on Rio. I think he thinks she's dead. Because that point, him breaking the sigil, he broke the sigil. There's no point of the sigil anymore.
But the thing is, if he wanted to really kill her, he would have went ahead and did it and just continued the road on his own because he can. But he needs Agatha. He wasn't going to kill her. He wasn't going to kill her. He was pissed at her for killing Alice.
He said he was going to do the road on his own.
It was just him being upset, and he did something. And he did a very simple, basic controlling spell and a mud trap spell, which is very simple to get out of. And that's all that happened so that she could get her ass out. And then they have this tit for tat conversation. She offers to finish the road with him where it's just those two, because she's obviously not concerned with Rio either. And then they make their way.
And even with that point being said, there has multiple power struggles that was being had, even bringing up Rio. When Rio got there, they were playing mental games the whole time. They know each other's backstory. They have a close relationship. But she's like, hey, let's run that game we used to do back in the day. And then put her on the intercom and played her. Why would she do that? Knowing who Rio is, knowing her power, knowing that she knows Agatha better than anybody else. And which is also interesting, even after Agatha betrayed her, Rio was still protecting her, because when they was like, oh, so she's like, hold on, that's my bitch.
That part was funny as fuck though, because she was really like the first person to be like, let's slit her throat. And then she's like, absolutely the fuck not. They're like, weren't you just talking about slitting her throat? She's like, yeah, well, her mother can't have her.
Right.
So with that point being said, Charlie, like, I hear you logically, yes, but obviously the witch mind is very manipulative. They are not linear. They are not like, you know what I mean, surface level. Everything they doing has a plot to it. Everything that they doing has a strategy. Everything that they doing has a second game plan, plan B and plan C. I feel like everybody's been playing a alternative game that hasn't been brought to the audience. I think that with Jennifer, because Jennifer in the comics is supposed to be a real one too. So all of these witches may have their own endeavors. You feel me?
Jennifer Kale, a potions witch, was like, I was like,
come on.
And I agree with a lot of that. I think the issues you have is a writing standpoint. The simple, like, this is one simple thing you have in whatever kind of story you're doing is a setup and a payoff. Again, if we get an episode where they're showing, because there's a lot of it too, where I noticed like they didn't really show Billy interacting with too many people outside of Alice off. Like a lot of the times when shit was going down with Rio or Agatha, he's off screen somewhere else, or he's like off doing something and we don't really see him much in the show. If they're showing like he's been doing sneaky shit back and forth, okay, cool, I can get that. But if we get through this entire season and they don't address like him missing in certain parts or certain stuff going on, you set a bunch of this stuff up, or you're saying you set a lot of it up and there was no payoff on that.
I think the point
you're telling me that he was doing
there's
this the whole time.
Episode 8 and 9 occurred together. So I think there's
word.
Yeah, episode 8 and 9 occurred together on the same day. I think it's on Halloween. So I think
thank you.
I think they are going to reveal some stuff, but also what I thought was funny was the situation with the concert that they were having.
We talking about the song and all that?
Yeah,
No, when he got thrown into the booth and had the glass shard in his stomach, and they were checking on him, he's like, "Oh, does this mean I'm part of the coven? Do things together?" And I'm like, "They already fucking told you your ass is not part of the coven. So what are you doing?"
I thought he threw himself through that window for real.
I did too. I thought he threw when they started revealing things in this last episode. I said maybe he threw himself through the glass.
Even before everybody else got attacked differently. He the only one that got
thrown through the glass, but everybody else was getting burned.
Yeah, everybody else was screaming and and I'm like, why did
everybody else was getting burned with her curse, and he gets thrown through the glass, and I was like,
I hear y'all. I hope that's what happened.
Now I didn't think I didn't know.
If that's not what happened, and all this shit they just did it just to do it, boy, I'm about to be pissed. I hope he planned all this out, because if they just had stuff happening and there was like it just happened to happen, I'm like, okay, bro. Well, that was just written really bad and directed really bad from that standpoint.
My hope is
I'm gonna need you to, ain't you Mr. Optimistic anyways in this panel? I need you to be a little bit more optimistic, bro. Like I gave the show a 7.5, but y'all deep diving into issues like the issues I have that dropped it from like a 9 where I enjoyed it to a 7 is a lot of the writing and directorial stuff where you're just like telling me, you're giving me big exposition dumps and then you're showing me these big exponential plot devices that were not even shown to be. Again, if he's reading minds and he like Agatha does something and she's like, because the entire show she's plotting in her head on what she's doing to get over to either not be in the trial or not do this, and he's just acting like he doesn't know that she's trying to do that and saying, "Oh, why are you doing this?" I'm like, you better show me something, because up until that point, you have not shown me to any extent him like foreseeing that she's going to do that with like a shot of him like looking at her sideways or him maybe saying something a certain way. He's very reactionary the entire show. If he's I don't think that's true.
He's very much a reactionary for the whole show. For the entire show, he's like, why, Agatha? Why didn't you drink that? Or you didn't drink this?
That's my point.
You're the only one that didn't drink.
Is his disguise.
He could be on the offense. That is his offense, his deception.
That's
this whole idea that he couldn't possibly is like his major chess piece. He can't use his power. He done revealed his powers. Now he got a spark. That's just another chess piece. He knows,
and it sounds good. I hope that's the case. We
are simply mid-season. We are mid-season. We still have 3 more episodes, and episode 8 and 9 are supposed to be the 2 longer ones that are coming out on the same night. So I feel like, as they've always done, where we get into the mid-season and they give you crumbs of things that we're going to get the payoff at the end, because I feel like they've worked way too hard on this in particular to make it what it is, for them to just be like, oh, never mind, unless they decide that they're going to do season 2 or some shit.
Right.
I hope so. I'm hoping this isn't the situation, because
I feel like they should.
A lot of the issues I'm talking about are issues that we've seen in the other shows that have come up to this point in regards to like a lot of the writing and plot holes. I hope this isn't a thing, because we know they did a whole like pivot with after the Jonathan Major stuff, where they're like a lot of Armor Wars is probably never coming out. Let's keep that above. That movie's probably never coming out. We haven't heard anything about that movie since it was.
Well, they said they were going from movie to show, so we'll see.
But that's my thing. Like, they had to do a lot of repivoting. I hope this show isn't it's not a James Gunn thing with DC where like, yeah, this stuff was made before I made this final decision to do this stuff. So we're just gonna let it come out to recoup the money, but we're not really that invested in it. I hope this isn't what this is. But they're just like, yeah, we're gonna get this show out here to get Billy introduced so we can do the Young Avengers later, but we're not putting that much work into the directorial stuff for it or the writing stuff for it.
I think that depends on when it was shot, because for a minute Disney was just pumping it out. And CEO had to come out. And just like they had to halt a lot of productions and everything.
They were pumping it out and reshooting it, re-editing it.
Yeah, they've been doing.
Hoping that they're trying to get back to quality, and that what we're seeing is the story unfolding. And it's going to be an amazing payoff. That's what I'm hoping, is that Disney got their shit together and they're telling an amazing story. But if the payoff is not there, then it's definitely going to be a blow for me.
I think they're
for sure.
I think they're tapping out on this. I think that they're doing what James Gunn's doing, where like they're starting off their fresh slate with the Fantastic Four, like he's doing with Superman. I think they're like all this stuff play out. They're getting, because you can't create this stuff and then not get your money back from it. So you're just gonna you can't do that. You can't just make, because at that point they're taking an L on that. I think they're just getting all this shit out of here.
She's not bound by any witch's code because she killed Alice, so she didn't care about the code at all anyway.
Yeah, she never.
Well,
she never
unconsciously, right? Does she have control of that, or is that
She
just
does have control of that. She knew
I
what the
think
fuck she was doing.
they were
Because
showcasing like her.
as
Oh, go
soon
ahead.
as she started absorbing her powers, she could have stopped it at any time. But that has been her goal for the entire time, and they
right?
even pointed it out. That's what they want. That's what she
Yeah,
wanted.
yeah.
So
they
the
did.
fact that it happened, it just solidified the fact that she don't give a damn about no witch's code. Because if she did, she wouldn't have killed her other witches back in Salem.
I think they were
Man,
showcasing
they
too a little
came
bit in
for her
that.
first.
This is
I
also
think
true, but you know,
She
I
gonna
think
do
they were
it.
showing a
Not
little
gonna
bit too
stand
how
there and die.
she gets almost like a split personality when she has powers. Because she
Mhm.
acts very much so distinctively different with the whole show when she doesn't have powers, where she's sweeter. She's still like conniving a little bit, but at that point, you saw when she was like absorbing Alice's powers, they told her to stop. And if I remember right, she said, "I can't."
Well, it was like I can't, but almost like she had no control. That's what I
That's
was seeing. That's why
that's
I
what I'm
was like,
saying.
does she have control? Because I remember in WandaVision, she said she takes power from the undeserving. Now, is she actively taking it, or is there something on her, or something about her
I think
type
that's
of
a dark
power
hold.
that automatically does it? If you hit her,
well, she
it's
does. She
happening,
has had
whether
the
you like it or
book of
not.
the damned, so nobody knows.
Because even when you look at like the multiverse of madness, like Wanda, when she got the Darkhold, pre-Darkhold, like her, like the way she was acting in the murder spree she went on, she was actively acting a lot more sinister after she was all in the Darkhold and got that power. Because I think she got corrupted. I think Agatha has been corrupted by it. Because to my knowledge, she didn't have the ability to absorb other witches' magic until she got the Darkhold, right? That wasn't an
No,
ability
she
she was
did
born
it. She
with.
did it when she was younger too. That's why they killed her. Because when she killed her sister, her sister Coven, she absorbed all of their power.
Yeah, they
But
said she was practicing the
they said she
darkness
was
of
playing
magic, but I don't know if she had the dark
I don't
hold
think she
yet.
had the Darkhold at
She
that
didn't have the
point, but
baby yet.
she was practicing. Yeah, she didn't have the baby yet. So she was practicing dark magic and she was absorbing power at that point. But when she got the Darkhold, she was able to do like a lot more. And she got the Darkhold by giving away her kid.
Did she really? Like, is that the
She had
story?
to have, because when they did the flashback, she ran to the cradle, saw the book in there. Why would she act so traumatic if it wasn't true? I think it is true.
Yeah. I don't know if they've clarified exactly that
They
timeline,
haven't
but at least in my
clarified it. There's
mind, she
two
got the
of them
book
that's
yet.
going around. It's one that she gave away Nicholas to get the book, and the other one is that Rio killed the baby. So I guess it just depends on which one that they decide to go with.
Well, she said that she could because I think both things happened, but she didn't kill the baby. She gave him away so she could get.
She gave him away, and then I think
Rio
may have killed him for something because Rio said it was her job. She's like, I heard someone, even though it was my job. And so the theory is that Rio is the one who killed Nicholas because Nicholas.
I don't want to ignore the big M in the room where we did hear Mephisto's name mentioned very early on in the show.
Yeah. When
I don't know if they're gonna change up like Chthon and his like connection to the Darkhold being his book, or if they're gonna like retcon it to where Mephisto's the one that maybe created that and he's giving out a lot of these abilities. Because if that's the case, it would make a lot of sense where the guy that is known for taking souls and manipulating people gave her the ability to do all this nasty shit. And the Witch's Road is like his creation up until this point. Now, I don't know. We're gonna see. I don't know what changed with that. Because I remember there was a whole thing with China where they couldn't even say his name or say he was a devil because of the China law, and they're not going to distribute Mephisto.
I don't know
because they couldn't even say he was the devil up until.
I think that I think that they've called him at this point not the devil because they have a devil character. Now they have a devil character, but they're supposed they have him as the Prince of Hell or the Prince of Limbo or whatever fucking section in the comic books.
Yeah, because I don't know how they're gonna do it. Because I remember that was a big thing where they couldn't even.
Yeah,
they couldn't even say his name.
If they were going to say his name, and he had to not be the devil or whatever the fuck. So I think they changed it.
But I think because I know a lot went out with the gaming stuff too. That's why like Black Myth will. I think that was a little bit a while ago.
Right.
So the trials are based on fear, right? Facing your fears.
Also, speaking of what the trials, sorry, not trying to cut you off.
Oh no, go ahead.
But I was just gonna say I like how each trial, is the. Can I transition real quick before you say your point? Because I just want to say also
we can move on.
Not move on. I want you to hold your thought, but because it might tie into what I'm saying.
Okay.
But speaking about the show, let's talk about the song, the ballad. You know what I'm saying? The Witch's Road. speaking about the trials and how they sing and perform. I want to hear y'all thoughts on that. How they kept switching up costumes. I thought that shit was real fire. And speaking about fire, every trial, just like the song, they speak about, and when they sing the song, it's fire, wind, earth, and fire, wind, earth, and water. You know what I'm saying? Every trial, they almost got drowned. You feel me? They was getting burned. You feel me? So like, I feel like that's also within the trial. So I think that's dope.
I think that's like an allusion to the Salem witch trials.
Also, I just wanted to point out also that the fact that the trials are and the years that they are in are also coinciding with WandaVision.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think in regards to like your initial thought on that comment, like how we feel about it. I think the only thing I don't like about it is I think it's a little tonally inconsistent.
No more.
And that's been my biggest issue with the show. Like the biggest con to me is like the show's a little tonally inconsistent. Like when the show first started and they introduced Mrs. Hart, I'm like, okay, why are we going into a situation where like we're doing this like really intense scene and all? Like for the key example, they're doing the Witches Ballad for the first time and trying to open up the Witches Road. You have this intense stuff going on, this music's going on, the Salem 7 are coming in, and we keep cutting back to her like Hercules, like giving all this comedic acting. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. You're in a just tense ass scene and she's just breaking that immersion, or she's like they're walking down the Witches Road with intimidating music and she's doing the heel kick like scurrying down the road. And that's been the issue I've seen throughout the show, where you're giving me this like scary, intimidating atmosphere from the intro music to the outro music we're seeing in the credits to the Billie Eilish track at the end, but then there are all these moments of like really flamboyant like comedic tone where I'm just like, or Agatha's being super, like she's going too far in the deep end for me where she's being comedic. I'm like, I just need you to be totally consistent in some aspects. Like, is this going to be a more of a comedy like show, or are you going to, because I think WandaVision did it better to me in regards to like that balance of throwing in comedy and this being relatively serious. Here, I think they lean too far into jokes, and especially in moments where you're setting up a tense scene.
I was about to say,
I agree.
No, I love camp. Bro, trust me, I can get to camp, but you got to be consistent with the tone you're setting, because you can't break immersion. You can't set up a tense scene, suspenseful scene.
Yeah, I think,
and then in the middle of it, break that with a joke.
I do like the humor that they put in there, because a lot of people especially if you're trying, like if we remember the chaos that was happening with Harry Potter and how people accept and people go through with the idea of witchcraft, you have to have something in there to balance it out. Otherwise, nobody is going to watch it that's a casual fan.
I think Harry Potter's the best experience. Like that's the best example of how it's done. They didn't like, so in it, let's say, for instance, they're in a scene where they're in the battle of Dumbledore and Voldemort, right? They didn't crack a joke or have anything flamboyant happen in the middle of that fight, in the middle of that scene. After the fact, when they're like in the house decompressing, they're letting off jokes to kind of bring the mood back in, and then they go into another tense scene. Those jokes should be used as a decompression, not in the middle of the scene.
You have a human being entering into a witch's world, and you're expecting them to follow suit. Mrs. Hart has absolutely no idea what the fuck is going on. She was literally plucked off the street, and she has they carry the same personality of Mrs. Hart over from WandaVision, because that's how she acted in WandaVision as well. So it would be weird for her to change her personality from WandaVision to here.
I'm not saying to change it.
It would be weird for her to be in this space. It's already weird for her to be in the space, but it would be weird for her to be in the space. And what is she going to do? Is she going to stand there and look, or is she going to be herself in this moment while they're trying to do what it is that they're trying to do? She doesn't know the words. She doesn't know anything, because again, she's not a witch, and she literally just got pulled off of, she was gardening and not paying any attention. So I like that they put her in there, and it like the balance of this is how humans act in the presence of witches, especially when they have no idea what's going on. I feel like it offered that balance that some people were looking for, because going a lot of intense, I feel like you end up losing some people, because not everybody can handle intense all the time.
But that's the issue I have there, where you're not, with a show like this, it's not for everybody in general. If they're doing like something like Werewolf by Night, it's not for everybody. They're doing it for a particular type of fan that likes Halloween spooky type of content. My issue isn't with her being herself in the moments, because she can be confused, but don't be confused and do a whole what's the old girl's name? Don't do a skip down the yellow brick road.
You talking about when Rio did that?
No, I'm talking about Mrs. Hart. They would have Mrs. Hart literally like be doing the most goofy shit in the background during like they're explaining this tense dark magic stuff, and she's just in the background like doing.
But what is she supposed to be doing?
Like, be confused. Like if I'm in like so if you're in a situation where you're not familiar with something that's going on, you're not sitting there like smiling and chuckling. You're like trying to understand what's going on. You're looking around.
But she already stated that
she's an old lady though.
She's old people are different.
And that's even more the issue I have too is the fact she was like because we established in WandaVision because did we see anybody else from the town in Westview that acted as goofy as they did during the WandaVision stuff? It seemed like everybody was so fatigued and like, yeah, we're chill now.
So
like,
they did because they were acting out that whole situation with Agatha since she was under the spell, and they even went so far as to play this act with her because
they're dropping off groceries and stuff to her. But even they said she was acting weird though. It wasn't a normal thing.
She was acting weird. She's like talking like she was a police detective. They're pretending to go out and find a body even though there's nobody there. They're doing all kinds of they're still acting out even though they're no longer under this spell anymore. They are still acting this out for her. And the fact that he was just like, bro, please go put some fucking clothes on. You out here naked in the house. Like everybody was still acting the way
they weren't acting. They were taking care of her. They were concerned for her. They weren't acting the situation out.
But they're still acting the way that they were in WandaVision. They're still putting on a play because they're concerned about her because she is currently out of her fucking mind, and they have no idea what else.
That was from her perspective, though. That was like when they're outside of the spell and they're showing her acting goofy and they're in their normal state. They're like fucking casually, like he was just getting groceries in the house. He wasn't doing any of the goofier stuff that we saw from her perspective when she's still under a spell.
For sure.
She can't. What can she do? She said she looked it up.
I'm pretty sure it's about Rio killing.
They're talking in the comments.
Yeah. Okay. Real quick, since now we at a pause position, right? Because we had an hour and 46 minutes in. From your point, Charlie, we was trying to shorten up the show, so I don't want to go too longer on tangents. And this is Celeste's first time, so in case she wasn't, invested to go extra long, I'm trying to keep it tight.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay, well, thank you. You know what I mean?
Let me know. One of y'all lives was like 4 hours. I'm ready.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not saying we gotta be here 4 hours. I'm just saying I'm prepared.
No, okay, appreciate it. So while all these new people who are commenting are in here, we appreciate you. Please tap in with Captain. Please like, follow, subscribe. You feel me? You know what I mean? Do what you got to do. We appreciate you. W chats, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all. Y'all been in here, bro. I've been tuning into both conversations. I'm like, oh damn, what they talking about? Oh damn, what they talking about? I've been tuning in back, so it's a very good conversation. So we appreciate y'all being here. You know what I mean?
That's what's up. Do I have any thoughts? Regarding Agatha All Along in general, I got plenty, man. Okay, so I do want to address what you said about the dress changes and stuff. I actually think it's pretty cool. I think that's Disney getting into their bag, doing Disney things. The set of the road is nothing short of what I would expect from Disney. I even like the little things that they did. Like if you notice, they changed the colors of the leaves. At some point, they went from being like a darker, like fall leaves to bright yellow, like the yellow brick road. I like all the nods to the Wizard of Oz, even down to having the characters in Billy's room. I like everything that they're doing. I do feel like they're losing me with this song because it's starting to feel like a musical. And I'm like, all right. We getting all these different variations. Like we've been hearing this song or the song being hummed from the very, very beginning. And I get it. The song is at the heart because everything they're doing comes from the words. I get that, but it's just getting a little bit excessive for me. But I love the sets. I love the trials. This is my Agatha retro, nod or whatever. I came with the off the shoulder number because I was like, let's do a little something from the retro trial, you know what I'm saying, just to get into it. But I'm enjoying all of that. I like this. I do like the storytelling. I like if it pays off, I like it. I'm cool with it as long as it pays off. And I'm just hoping that it's more to it than what we think. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping these next 3 episodes are just like hitting us with all of the stuff that we need to know so that we can all get what we waiting for. Is like, what is really going on? What is everyone's real play?
Also, I want to touch on what she just said. Keep it a band. I think that is a part of witchery. I think that's the point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when they get something to get into your mind and your spirit, that's why they do it. So, you know, be conscious. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, hey, that you might be under a spell. You know what I mean?
That boy wanted to go say a prayer after every episode.
Hey,
I'm gonna go ahead and say the TV was muted. Anytime I heard Latin coming, I was like, mute. I'm gonna go ahead and watch these subtitles. Y'all ain't about to cast shit on me in my living room. Not today. But I think it's dope. But the one thing that I don't like about it is that I'm kind of with Charlie when it comes to the inconsistency of the tone. Like some minutes it's really dark, and I'm here for the darkness. I'm like, if you gonna let's be dark, but then it's like it is Disney. So it gives some minutes with like with the 7, it's dark. They doing the ring pop locking and shit. And I'm like, oh, is this for kids? Agatha showing her bare ass. Oh, is this for kids? But then it gets a little Disney, and it's just like, this is a little corny for me now. Because you bring in the levity, but I get what Kaori is saying. You gotta have some levity because all dark all dark could work for me though. I'm cool with committing to dark and scary, but I'm like, this is Disney, so I guess they still got to keep it PG-ish for the kids. I feel like it's like WWE. They get really, really dark sometimes, but then they get really, really kind of corny sometimes because they want all the audiences. So I think that's the problem, is that they want to go super dark because it's a witch show. It's rooted in darkness and spells and all this other stuff, right? But it's Disney, and their target audience usually are kids and teens. So I don't know
and it's more so casuals as well. So you want to keep the casuals too, because you're not sure if your casuals like all dark.
Now, I am a casual. I don't know if y'all know that. See, now when I speak about these things, I am a casual. Now, I don't know if I'm that casual because I do know some stuff, but I didn't read the comics and I don't know the kind of stuff that you guys know. So I'm speaking from a casual standpoint where I'm just like, I don't know all the intricacies and what it should be and what it's supposed to be. I'm taking it all in, being someone who has seen most of the Marvel stuff, but not all of it. I have missed some things. So I'm feeling it. I like it. It's a lot of Easter eggs, and that's cool, but it's not so hard to where I can't keep up or I can't follow.
So
there are some. Like, I agree with this comment right here. It would definitely be a waste because she is so fucking. Kathryn is so funny. Love her.
So, Liz, did you watch Werewolf by Night?
Jessica Jones,
Which one?
Werewolf by Night. It was like the first magic show they did before Agatha.
I
think it was
Werewolf by
after
Night
WandaVision.
is my absolute. Is actually my second favorite project because Werewolf by Night is one of my favorite characters, and I absolutely loved that special.
So for me, that show is the perfect example of how to do this show for me as far as like tonal consistency. You had a lot of the serious scenes like him transforming into a werewolf or a Swamp Thing committing murder, and then you still had your comedic scenes where Swamp Thing's acting like a whole like child at a campfire with Buddy, or you have moments like that. My biggest thing is don't throw in jokes in moments where it's supposed to be suspenseful, because at that point you're breaking immersion.
But Werewolf by Night is a completely different type of story from this one.
If you're giving me a story about, you can't tell me a story about Agatha committing murders on top of murders and saying she's responsible for the Hindenburg and all the horrible, like not just alluding to it, but saying she's murdering people. She turns a woman into a raisin. We see blood everywhere in certain episodes. We see demons, and then tell me that it's not consistently the same thing. Where it's a show about witches doing witch stuff, and this one witch has hundreds upon maybe thousands of bodies. To me, it's supposed to be the same thing. That's what I looked at.
But like somebody also said in the comments, they had to take a break from Jessica Jones because Jessica Jones was way too heavy. You have to have something in there. So there's always going to be that one person. And you can say, maybe it's just my family. We go to a funeral, there are people that I cannot fucking sit next to because they be telling jokes and laughing, and I can't do it. I can't sit next to you because we're supposed to be crying right now.
Right.
And, but there's also like that's what I equate Mrs. Hart to. The person that you cannot sit next to in a funeral because she has no idea what the hell is going on. And she is doing all kinds of shit and she's funny because she's so clueless and she didn't know, and it's almost as if she didn't believe what was happening, because when she was like, so which girlies, like she's sitting here talking to them like they're in a book breakfast club thing. She has no clue what's going on. She took that, she grabbed that bottle of wine so quick. It was like,
she is a drunk. I think we missing that. She probably was drunk when she came in the first place.
Exactly.
Because Agatha, remember when Agatha was trying to make it seem like she was getting possessed by Mrs. Hart? She was like, oh, and I'm drinking by noon. And I was like, is she calling her a drunk?
Exactly.
So maybe that's why she's so goofy.
I feel like I feel like putting that in there to show the contrast between them trying to get shit done and Mrs. Hart's drunk ass that has absolutely no idea what's going on is so fun for me, because I'm just like, I love this, because again, I love the heavy stuff. I do. But I do agree with somebody. I had to take a break from Jessica Jones, because please crack a joke, smile.
But that's my thing though. At least for me, is my perspective as a creator. You're not meant to make content for everyone. Especially with Disney, when you have this various amount of people and various amounts of type of heroes. Like when they put out Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that was meant to be more comedic and it's for a certain type of audience. Hawkeye, or not, was it called Hawkeye? I can't remember what that show was called. Hawkeye. Okay. That was meant to be more comedic. That wasn't meant for the dark, serious tone people. You should have different pieces of content when you try to make something for everyone, it's not going to work as well. Sometimes you get those like flashes in the pan where it works, but for the most part, when you try to make something for everyone, you fall short and not as many people like it, period. And that's a little bit of the issue I have with it in regards to that consistency. But again, I don't want to harp on it too much, because I think I've already kind of worn it to death at this point. The very random question I have: how the hell did Jennifer or Lillian not know that Mrs. Hart wasn't a witch? Because if she don't know the song, she don't know what's going on at all through anything. And they've both been alive for hundreds of years. Like, y'all don't know when a witch isn't a witch.
I don't think that they were paying her too much of attention, huh?
They were all witches except for Mrs. Hart.
They don't know all witches.
No, but you know what a witch is. If she gathered all these witches, and even Alice, who wasn't really a witch for real and only knew stuff from as a child, and she knew what the Witch's Road was, she knew the song. The only person that don't know the song is Mrs. Hart. They get into the trial, and Mrs. Hart don't know what the hell going on, or she's asking all the questions like she don't know what's going on. And she's the only one. If I'm Jennifer and Lily, especially, you're already suspicious of Agatha, we'll be like, so why the hell does she not know anything?
I think they did comment. I think somebody did point. I think they did comment on it. But it's also, she's presenting her as a green witch. And I think that they did figure it out. And then they were like, well, she's dead now and we still need a fucking green witch. So yeah, Jen did say that.
When she said that, I thought she meant the boy, because we didn't see the boy do much.
She was talking about art.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't, because I don't think they saw him do any magic at all.
Yeah, they didn't see him, but they also already knew that he was just there as her familiar, so they didn't expect him to do anything.
That's what I thought he was alluding to then when you said you brought somebody with no magical talent. That's what I thought they meant.
Yeah, Miss Sharon was like, my name is Sharon. Like, she was ready to go home. And then
Agatha when the was trying to hurry up and get down there, she didn't care.
When the mud took her purse,
that was funny.
When the mud took her purse,
you can't have it. This is from
it's.
So what store is that?
Right.
There's a lot. This show for me, again, I enjoyed the show. I've said a lot of. I enjoyed the show. I gave it a 7.5. It's one of those shows you can't think too hard about, because once you think hard about it, a lot of the plot holes and threads unravel really quickly.
You can't think too hard with a lot of films these days. I have had to just accept things for what they are so that I can enjoy it and not be pissed off all the time.
Exactly.
So there are certain films you can dive into them and really appreciate the cinematography, really appreciate the storytelling, because it's like a piece of art. But I don't think this is that. I think this is for entertainment. I'm not saying it's not art. It's beautiful. They have a lot of beautiful, wonderful things going on, but this ain't Oppenheimer. You know what I'm saying?
It is her. I see the foundation. It has a really solid foundation in regards to a lot of that stuff, like setting up the breadcrumbs, the way it's shot. I'm like, this could be something a lot more than what it is, and I'm just like, damn, it's just not. At least for me, it's not at that next level. Especially it really
for you though. 3
It
episodes.
really shows too when like this is airing, and then I'm watching the Penguin right after, and I'm like, damn, breadcrumbs, setups, and payoffs. Damn, this shit is tight. This shit is like really tightly written.
Watching it with the Penguin. Come
Well,
on.
because
I
I work all week, so I watch them all at the same time at the end of the week. So I'm like, damn, bro. When you see something that's so tightly
would y'all
written,
be willing to, since I love this energy that we all have right here in this conversation, would y'all be willing to do a deep dive on the Penguin as well?
Yeah, we can.
Sure.
I'm down, at least.
I'm down.
I have yet to turn that show on.
Oh,
nigga,
that's
what?
I haven't watched
crazy.
it either.
That's
Bro,
Colin Farrell is.
that is like
crazy.
that is the best thing on TV streaming right now. There is
It's
nothing. At least in
fire.
my opinion, there is nothing else
The
out that is
acting,
better written, better acted.
mm.
That is the thing right now.
So
It's out.
y'all
It's
also
on my
so
list.
the thing
It's
is
what
that
Hawkeye should have been.
the thing
You wanted
is
Go
that I did not like the Batman. I did not care about the Batman.
He
I
didn't
did not
either.
at all.
Robert
So when they
Pattinson.
said, "Oh, we're doing the Penguin," when they said, "Oh, we're doing the Penguin," I was like, "Congratulations to you." I don't care.
Carrie,
I
You
didn't
know-
care. I don't care now.
Carrie, you know Khan. We've had a whole
Stop.
conversation about how much he
Well,
doesn't.
you gotta start
we-
off like that.
Not
we-
right.
I know how you start off, but don't-
We know how much he didn't like that movie. He's talked about how much he didn't like that movie since it came. Like I remember the day it came, like the day after it came out, he shot me a text in the car and told me he didn't like that movie. If he loved the Penguin, that goes to show you how good this show is.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay, so what is this game?
And I
that you
keep saying
had?
to reiterate though, I love the movie. I don't like the Batman.
I didn't like the Batman, the movie, period. I hated
See, that's
the
her.
whole
That's the
entire
separation.
thing.
I love it as a film. As far as a film, it had everything it needed to be a great film. I did
That
not
was
like the
bad.
depiction of Batman. That's
I
it.
thought that
The
shit was. I
actors
thought that
chose
shit
it.
was ass.
The acting they did,
Your
the
Honor.
scenery, the how they depicted Gotham, all of that I love. So I just want to make that.
I thought that shit was garbage, Your Honor.
I would ask Carrie. So okay, why do you think so? Like logically speaking, is it a bias thing for you? We don't like a certain person.
I
Or-
did not like the story. I did not like the characters. I do not like Robert Pattinson.
It's not?
I didn't really care about Colin Farrell. So what's her name? Zoe Kravitz. Is that her name? Go to hell.
So cool. What about
I
the
don't-
movie though? What about the
I
movie?
didn't
though?
like the movie. I didn't like anything that happened in the movie. I didn't care about the acting. I didn't care about the characters. I didn't care about the cast, the costumes, none of that. I was very bored the entire movie. Very bored. I fell asleep 4 times. It took me
Damn.
5 tries to watch it. And I was like, you know what?
Damn.
I don't care.
You know what? I did forget. Carrie doesn't like Batman as a character, period. So that makes more sense. I forgot
This is
about that.
also very, very true.
He doesn't like. So I forgot. I'm like, because objectively speaking, as a film, it's well shot, it's well written, it's well acted. But you don't like Batman, period. So I understand that. I forgot about.
However, I did watch. What's the movie? Justice
Oh,
League.
The
I
Snyderverse.
also
The Snyder
the
movie?
Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut. I did
Oh,
sit
wow.
down and watch the Snyder Cut.
I did too.
I thought that shit was ass, Your Honor.
It was.
Very bored. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I was so bored.
a 4-hour movie.
I watched it in
It was
pieces
dreadful.
like I was supposed to, and I just couldn't.
I watched that shit at one time. I picked a day where I wasn't doing shit. I was off work for that day and watched it all at one time.
All right. So while we
Apparently,
here,
Khan
man,
has a game or something.
yes,
You got a
And
game?
thank you.
Oh, shit.
Oh, good job, Kaori. Keeping up with the time. All right. So
That makes a lot more
I
sense.
was supposed to create a banner for it, but I didn't have time. We are all working people here. And now also Snyder Cut.
Sorry. Good.
I
I
fell
started
asleep too,
watching that
girl.
time.
But this
I
is
was
going
bored.
to be called which one? So I am going to bring up only 6. I'm not going to do too much because I've done it before. We don't get through it all. So I did only 6. It's going to be 2 different witches. And you guys are going to say which one would y'all feel like would beat the other. Okay. And let me know if y'all familiar with them. And then that's it. That'll be it. Oh, also I have two posts for tapping no capping, and then that's it. So let's do it. First one. Maleficent versus Magic. Who y'all feel like got that?
And like just a pure strength battle 1v1.
Magic, powers, combat ability, like
Okay, are
however
we
you want
talking
to
about
take it.
pure magic? Because if you're talking about witches magic. So are you talking about pure magic?
Like magic, like the magic that they use. Like she teleports and all that shit. We know
Oh, that's
magic.
her.
in the
a lot of
comics,
her
it's
mutant
hella
abilities,
powerful.
though.
Huh?
A lot of it's her mutant abilities, though.
But we know it's multiple mutants who also are witches.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So that's fine. She has additional shit. A lot of witches are mixed and come from different stuff, and you know what I mean? So with that being said, with these two verses, who you feel like will get it? You know, one turns into a dragon, one fights things that are giants like dragons and shit.
If I'm counting the comics, I'm probably gonna say Magic.
Okay.
That's just me.
Are we counting the comics, or are we talking about movie version? Because movie version, Maleficent.
Okay, correct. Let's go with that. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, as the
just the movies. Then it's Maleficent without
Maleficent. Then
okay, Maleficent.
She didn't know how to use her abilities.
Magic. That's my girl. Okay, a lot of magic.
Magic only showed up like in that one movie that nobody even saw for real.
Awesome. Because the movie, they were trying to get them to like not really use their abilities in general in the hospital.
Yeah, so I would say Maleficent in this situation.
Okay, so we got 1-1.
I can't even break it. I don't know who Magic is.
No, I said 1-1. So you said Maleficent, and he said Magic.
He said Maleficent.
Oh,
I changed it up because you said it's depicted. You said it's depicted.
Okay, so yeah, first he said Magic. Okay, all right. Well, we got Magic for that one. Maleficent. Oh, sorry. Maleficent. 2 M's. My fault.
Damn, K-Rory.
Right.
Who was that? Billy, and who was that?
That is my nigga Wyatt from Charmed. That's the evil Wyatt. Came from, you know what I mean?
Why did you put Billy up against this man, and we've only seen Billy?
Because the people don't know. The people don't know.
But if we're doing as pictured, though,
as depicted, it would be Wyatt. That wasn't even
a wash
fair.
if it's as depicted.
Do you know Wyatt?
Yeah, we watched Charmed, but we watched
Okay.
Billy,
It's not a Charmed is a relic for a lot of people. You know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure they still got Charmed reruns going on right now.
They do.
They run the fuck out of Charmed, bro. I was watching that shit every day.
Doctor's office. Charmed.
Every doctor's office.
Charmed and Friends are in every doctor's office.
Boy, I know they getting a check still off that show. Off that what's the
okay, all right. I didn't know y'all knew. Y'all didn't know y'all was Charmed fans like that. Okay, I was trying to throw a little curveball. You know what I'm saying?
They run Charmed, bro. They run the Fresh Prince and the Wayans Bros. Like they run them shits to death.
Right, try harder.
All right. So, I did
play.
Right, that part. Since we were talking about Buffy, I'm sure y'all Willow off rip. Do we have any D&D in these comments?
From the movie,
that's old girl from Dungeons and Dragons.
Dragons.
Willow.
I couldn't see who the other person was. Who was the other person?
It was Willow. Willow's the answer.
Willow from what? Which movie?
Yeah,
I feel that one.
Oh, I didn't watch Buffy, so I can't speak to that.
Okay,
I don't know either.
Willow's taking that.
Okay. Hey, I respect
Willow. I just in the comments. Willow.
I fucked everybody's pedigree. I fuck with Willow too. That's my favorite. You know what I mean? So I'm glad we
get down like that though.
Willow was skinning people with her magic.
Facts.
Oh wow.
When she went dark, Willow, she was
that man for killing her girlfriend.
Facts. Willow was not fucking around.
Watch Buffy. Willow was that girl. Yeah, she lost people who don't even fucking use magic. Willow was that girl.
Period. With a T.
Exactly.
Hey man, I rewatch. I was
season 6 Buffy. Yes. Season 6 Buffy.
All right, this is known, but I did this for kind of like casuals. You feel me? Gandalf versus we don't say his name. Where y'all at with that? Come on,
man, had that one for me. I ain't gonna lie. I think.
So listen, I feel like you should know this one. You said you the casual, so
I know that. I know them both.
Okay, all right.
I'm thinking about that final battle. I always think about that final Dumbledore battle. Voldemort was doing some nut shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know if Gandalf if he doing that like that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know about that.
Okay.
I would say Gandalf.
We got 2 Gandalfs.
I've seen Gandalf getting waxed by basic telekinetic spells by Buddy in the Sauron Tower.
I don't know.
If he get a whole fucking super,
I'm going with the man
I'm
that
gonna say
cheats
both.
death.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can
I'm
we say
going with the who we don't say his name. I'm not gonna say it. Starts
I'll
with
say
a
it
V.
for you. Voldemort's bitch
I'm a
ass.
rebel. I was about to say I'm gonna say it. But
Granted,
no,
there
I'm
is
picking
some
Voldemort. I guess we split.
like lore stuff issues there because if he has a death, the older one, he literally can't lose. Like that's plot armor, he can't lose. And then on top of that, but he can't die if he's if it's as depicted with the Horcruxes, unless you just got him all at like one point in time.
You shall not pass. I remember that.
Gandalf went, I don't know, bro. Maybe it's just me. I didn't see
I'm
Gandalf do nothing
taking
crazy
Gandalf.
magically wise. The
Okay.
hardest thing I seen him do was the fucking shit where he broke a bridge. He didn't even attack the fire giant. He just broke the bridge. But I've seen this thing.
Beard drip is legendary. That is a fact.
Oh yeah.
That is a
I've
fact.
seen Voldemort turn into a shadow demon, casting giants. Like
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, bro.
Now,
I ain't seen Gandalf do none that crazy.
I did this specific one for Kaori, and hopefully she likes it. This is Crowley versus her man of all time, Keanu Reeves, who played what?
Oh my God, John Constantine.
Yes, sir.
Constantine is the answer.
Who was the other guy?
But it is Crowley, though. He
Supernatural.
already went against the Winchesters and beat them multiple times.
But those are regular dudes, though.
Those are regular people.
The Winchesters are what?
The Winchesters are regular people.
No, the fuck they're not.
They don't cast spells to fight.
They don't cast spells.
They don't
John
cast spells.
Constantine is the wizard of John Constantine. As I've said before, people can argue me down all they want to.
Protection circles. They have protection.
They have to literally
that you have to
use
look.
salt
You can
and
look
prep
it up.
that.
Anybody can cast a salt
They
spell.
got all types of.
Not even a spell. They just literally making a salt spell.
It's a circle.
They have literally summoned death, Zeus, all types of.
But none of those spells are combative, though, bro.
None of those are combative. And number two, John Constantine is the. What did I say? I would put John Constantine as. I said second. I said John Constantine as the second strongest magic user in the DC universe.
But we are talking about as depicted.
John Constantine here.
We talking about as depicted.
Oh yeah, as depicted. I don't remember how much combat he did in that movie. I don't remember as much combat stuff.
Constantine. I'm taking Constantine.
Okay.
So somebody gets the drift. And this
did Crowley even really fight that much with magic? I saw most of the times he was fighting. He was trying to use the angel blade.
Constantine. I'm taking Constantine. I wish you had used Matt Ryan's Constantine, but that's fine.
Not at all. Why would I do that?
Because he's the better.
Exactly. Why would I do that?
Because he's the better.
So weird.
Yeah, I don't. Crowley didn't even cast like combat spells. I think he didn't have a spell for that. I'm
going Constantine.
I literally don't remember Crowley ever casting a spell for like aggression. He only tried to stab people like the damn Winchesters.
And I really I'm literally in the middle of binge watching Supernatural, so I haven't even gotten Crowley yet. I saw Crowley a long time ago, but his was not memorable for me at all. So I said Constantine.
Oh yeah, no, that's from Supernatural.
Because Crowley had he made deals to get your soul, the devil dog, with the hellhounds, but he never had a combative spell.
So we gonna move on because she looked like she getting upset. That's her man. So I ain't gonna do too much. Not too much on John Constantine. So we gonna move on from that. And then this is the last one. Let's see. Bonnie versus Lena.
Bonnie.
I don't know either of these women. I'm not quite.
Lena is from I think it's called Beautiful Creatures.
Beautiful Creatures. Bonnie.
Was that the Kristen Cruick show?
The what?
Not a show, it's a movie.
Beautiful Creatures is a movie.
It's a movie? Okay, never mind. I thought it was
Bonnie.
CW Kristen
Bonnie.
Okay.
Bonnie.
I don't know.
Bonnie is from
Vampire Diaries.
Vampire Diaries.
Well, that was I didn't. My college roommates watched a lot of that. I did not.
Bonnie is about Bonnie. I would put Bonnie and Willow on the same level of power.
Facts.
Bonnie is that girl. Bonnie. Period.
Facts. I was gonna put them against each other, but I was like, nah, I love both of them too much.
Don't do it.
I love Bonnie and I love Willow. I wouldn't put myself in that position. Right.
Always bet on black. Not wrong. Not wrong.
All right.
No.
Well, that was that game. And then these are my last two posts, and then we can call it a night, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tapping in with Tapping No Captain. We are doing a post called Horror Husbands. So out of all these husbands,
Oh God,
men, you know what I mean? Who do y'all feel like is y'all husband in these horror type people?
Lucifer.
So I used some of her characters and I threw in some, you feel me, just to make some current.
That's
Who's buddy up? Who's buddy top middle? I don't know who that is.
That's from Teen Wolf.
Oh yeah, okay. I didn't watch Teen Wolf.
I think his name was.
Oh, you went to the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, my nigga. I see you.
Oh no, that's okay.
I sure did.
No credit.
Okay,
that's okay.
Great.
I love that movie.
That would be kind of sus as fuck if I was like, oh, you know that one nigga from. Yo, he was kind of, you feel me?
Dorian Gray, because that's my love.
Mine ain't on there. Mine is Billy from Scream.
Thank you.
Okay.
I said Billy Loomis.
I mean, I can't pick one just for the sake. If I got one, I got one. And that's Billy.
I got no.
So nobody on this list can meet your criteria. Nobody.
If I had to pick somebody who's fun,
this list is I don't know a lot of the people on it. That's another part.
What? You ain't never seen? Hold on, you never seen Lucifer? You never seen? Hold on, let me finish. There's say it again, Charlie. What's the movie?
It's my League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yep. Then the one above that is Lucifer. The one above that is Interview with a Vampire. The one to the right is Teen Wolf. The one next to that is Hellboy 2. The one underneath that is Sandman. The one underneath that is Vampire. Well, you don't have to say it could be originals. Let's go originals. And then the one in the middle is The Crow. You ain't never seen none of these?
I've seen The Crow. That's it. A lot of these are shows.
You don't fuck with Jason Lee?
I watch a lot of movies. I don't watch
Brandon
shows.
Brandon Lee, thank you.
Yeah, that's a whole different Asian brother, my brother.
Well, if you're going to do your spooky season stuff, I would highly recommend watching The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen from early 2000s.
It's fun. It's pretty bad, but it's a fun bad.
Yeah, it's a fun bad.
If I had to pick, I ain't gonna lie, Lucifer is probably the most fun. I feel like I'd have a good time.
Dorian Gray was up there.
Man, I thought about it. I love True Blood. And I actually was thinking about using the witch from there, because that witch from that show, when I think she possessed Lafayette, was powerful as fuck. But and she was killing all the vampires. But that's for the people who are also fans. I want Klaus' brother.
I said Elijah earlier.
We only had so many slides, but yeah, she did say that as well.
Yeah, Lestat being up there is crazy.
I put Lestat up there. I said that.
Well, Lestat is, he swing both.
I said Lestat. I put
abusive ass husband.
I said
that abusive ass husband you got there, buddy.
What's the next one?
Yeah, it's good. Came out. Yeah, R.I.P. to my nigga Lafayette for sure. R.I.P. to that nigga. And then the last one is who is the most beautiful villain?
Oh, this is hard.
Drolta.
This is tough.
That's my girl. Drolta. Period. Drolta.
Harley.
That's my girl.
Ink.
I'm gonna go with Harley.
I'm glad you even know Ink. Niggas don't even know Ink.
You surprised I know Ink?
No, I said niggas don't know Ink.
The niggas not like Batman Beyond now all of a sudden?
It's a relic. A lot of people, you know what I mean?
I don't know about that. That's like one of the more popular Batman pieces.
I like Lust too, but Drolta is my girl.
I can't fuck with Lust after watching. I recently rewatched Brotherhood for the first time. I can't. She did my boy dirty. I'm probably going Harley. I ain't gonna lie. What was that one movie? I don't know what that movie was.
That's where I got it from.
Yeah, hey, buddy, I seen the meme like, if Harley was my henchman, I ain't getting no villainy done. Ain't no villainy getting done. Or 18. I like some strong ones.
Drolta's outfit changes through the entire show.
Nice. Put that shit on.
I love her. Oh my god. Drolta. That was Drolta.
Right.
18. I like some strong women. Plus, 18 holding it down for the fam for real. She gonna get out the mud.
I ain't getting AI booty.
It was good enough for Krillin.
Apparently, he had a kid. Or something.
I mean, she's technically not AI no more. Well, she wasn't really AI to begin with. She was a cyborg.
Right.
I don't know how the hell they got that off and they were androids.
It's a good question. Apparently, they got the parts that work.
Afro and pink highlights. Yep, Drolta, my girl.
Facts. Yeah.
I am going to cosplay her for my birthday.
Look, hey,
I have the outfit. I'm not doing the one that everybody's been doing, but I do have one of her outfits, and it's almost here.
They call them that, but they're not androids. Like if you look in the lore, Jero kidnapped them as orphans and then put robot stuff in their body. They're not androids, are 100% mechanical.
Right.
And Ju, to your point, hey, I'll be a sinner. She bringing home $40 million. Nigga, I'm a house husband. I don't care. I'm chilling. I got the pay. I'm a house husband. You bringing 40 home, and then you still extorting buddy. So he's like consistently paying you over a decade. Yeah, bro. We at the crib chilling. I gotta work.
Well, yeah,
y'all. She got killing the hairline.
Right.
That boy popped out 5 years later with hair.
That's crazy. Well, yeah, y'all, that has been Tapping No Capping. We appreciate y'all for tapping in on a Friday with y'all guests. Can y'all please, tell them where to follow y'all, what y'all got going on, the next projects, things like that? Anybody can start
first. Was somebody supposed to go first, or
go ahead?
So you can find me again at Solicit Cinema, calling it like I see it, talking movies. The next project I have, I'm doing a lot of content on Casino because Casino just hit Tubi, and I try to offer up a lot of free movies and talk about the free stuff that's out there because F Netflix, right? So yeah, that's what I got going on. I'm gonna be doing a lot of Casino stuff. That's what's next for me. Talking Robert De Niro and my boy Joe Pesci. Vegas. Okay. I love Vegas. I live in Vegas. So, it's my city. I'm doing a lot of content on that coming up. I do. I'm in Henderson.
Me too.
Get the fuck out of here. Are you serious? We gotta link and do something.
I know that's right.
Got to. That's what's up.
I know that's right.
But yeah, that's what I got coming up. A lot of cool shit.
So let's
speaking about the Twitches, you know what I mean? Go ahead, tell them what you tell them what you got going on. Where to find you and all.
You guys can find me on TikTok, of course, at Kari, where I just talk about shit and make jokes. On YouTube, I have 3 channels. Please don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. I have Nerd on the Street. Do you? I have Nerd on the Street, which is with my other YouTube partner. And then I have my Kaori's Corner, which is for movie reviews. That is not it. And then the doctor's office, where we do the proper diagnosis and prognosis for everything comics and comic book characters on there. Next week, I have 3 videos dropping for the different comic books that I read. I just put out the video for Black Panther versus Predator. And Plastic Death and Dolls. I'm debating on this story that I started. I don't know.
Check out her shit. She doing good things, y'all. Charlie.
Oh wow. Oh moi? Oh gosh. I guess my most prevalent thing is my own platform being Captain Diesel's Dojo. I post a lot of different stuff on there, as you can see, comics, gaming, and movies and anime. Like literally, I think my last 4 videos were what? Like I just did the review on the Alex Cross show. I did a video on a Power Rangers season, and then put a lot of work into an isekai video on why I enjoy them as much. And then if you want more of kind of just content similar to this, I have my podcast, the Then and Now podcast, which we are like 4 or 5 years in now. So there's a lot of content there, interviews with different comic book creators, some actors, as well as us just kind of discussing like narrative and plot and writing and things of that nature. Because I have some very talented, talented comic book writer, my boy Professor E, Ethan Murphy, and then my guy Otis E. So again, we've all put out comic books content. We walk the walk and try to talk the talk as well. But yeah, I just be doing shit, bro.
Okay. Oh, I don't know how I did that twice, but
I know I'm pretty.
Doing it twice? Are you doing it?
I'm
or am I doing that?
You're doing it. I guess.
Why is it keep going bad? All right,
There we
thank
go.
you.
My
I don't
hands
know
are
why I
out here.
kept doing it. I'm like, what's going on? But yeah, man, that has been Tapping No Capping. You know, it's the boy the comment, KJN_men. That 510, that's the bay. Just like every other Friday, catch us here on Tapping No Capping. We see y'all next time, and y'all have a beautiful, scary night.